Matt wants to cast.
Alright, we are live.
Very
And we
nice.
might have some additional casters joining us, but for now we have me, Taylor. I also go by Tradition, but um, I'll respond to Dr. Edition.
Nice. Gotta earn that PhD first. What?
Exactly.
Did somebody say something? Sorry.
It's a long process.
Yeah. And I'm your co-caster tonight, Tequila. I'm sorry, T-Dragon. Also the. Sorry, wait. I was gonna mention Alpha X for some reason, but that's not what we're doing here.
That's not
But
important currently.
yep. That's right.
Let me grab the chat and everything set up. Alright, now we're good to go, I think. Other than Starcraft likes to hijack all of my screens. So, I think we've had most of this bracket play out already, but we're going to jump in on the winners final of the double elim bracket. And then
Yep, that's
we
right.
might have an extra series in the losers semifinal, depending on how things time out.
And then after that, we're gonna have the best of 5 grand finals, as well as the losers final, aka the third place finals, which are also a best of 5. So very exciting stuff coming up.
Let's see. Do we have? So we're gonna have Nigel and Void starting it off, right?
Yep, that's right. So let me invite us all to a party in the in-game client, and then we can start with the vetoes and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I will let you try to handle most of that while I am overwhelmed by all the buttons that I have at my disposal.
Yeah, for sure.
And while you settle all of that nonsense, of course, big shout out to all our sponsors here for TGEX. Most especially Corsair for sponsoring the Starcraft side of this.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have around like $200 worth of prizing in this tournament today, so it's pretty exciting stuff. These players are it's they are definitely competing for some very very high stakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've kind of got like all the key peripherals in the prize pool, right? We've got a keyboard, a mouse, and a headset.
A headset. That's right. Although, headset, like who needs audio to play StarCraft 2? Like
Yeah.
it's just whatever. If you have superior game sense, you're fine.
Yeah, of course, something many StarCraft players had to learn on the professional scene with I know Scarlet struggled for a little while with GSL and the white noise and not having to listen to anything, but I definitely prefer to listen to things in StarCraft. Of course, I'm a fan of the good old Diva announcer pack, so I like somebody just super annoying yelling at me about how bad I am all game.
Nice. I don't know how you put up with that announcer though. Like seriously. It probably takes a lot more mental stamina or a lot of mental callousness, take one or the other.
I really don't understand it fully myself, but
Maybe that's part of how it works, right? Don't need to understand it, just take it as it is.
yeah. I mean, I'm not even an Overwatch player. I don't know why specifically the Diva announcer just has that appeal to me, but it does.
Diva is something else. She is I don't know, she's a problematic character in her own right, but like I I, I don't know. Like, why do they have to give her like a skin tight bodysuit? She's a mech driver, and they didn't give her like proper attire. I don't know. I just find it kind of funny.
It's the important for something, I'm sure.
Yeah, something or other. Yeah. Ooh, okay. So we've got a Zerg versus Terran coming up here, actually. So, Void, I'm not sure. Well, actually, no. I'm pretty sure most of our audience does not know these players, but we have in the winners final Nigel playing Oh my god. Okay, I'm still in that Alpha X caster mode. So I was gonna say like he's playing for SC2 Swarm, which like is accurate. He is playing in that clan, but he is the former UC Davis team captain. So we are pretty tight with him. We know who he is. He's a pretty chill guy. And then of course his opponent Nate the Great, aka Void, playing for the Jiggly clan. He is a Grandmaster Protoss from UC Irvine, and he will be playing Terran tonight. So very exciting.
Yeah, of course we have the Grandmaster Protoss nerfing himself a little bit so that we have a little more of a competitive scene here.
All right. Should we invite Matt to the call?
We could if you'd like. I'll let you
Okay, sure.
make the determination on that since Matt is still playing in the tournament, so he
Oh, he is playing in the
plays
tournament.
plays the winner of I think Jimmy and Game Friend. And then whoever wins that will be playing the loser of the series, so
Right.
whether or not we want to let him in on
bracket.
some top secret strats here. Oh, and I forgot to mention we do have the Corsair giveaway as well going on in stream. This exclamation mark Corsair should give you the information on that, I believe.
That's right. I believe the giveaway is it's to win a mouse, if I'm not mistaken, which is also the third place prize for our tournament here tonight. Oh, reboot game heart. All right, give me 1 second. We're gonna remake the lobby with
Okay.
proper observing tools.
Good old Starcraft, letting lobbies exist in the ether with nobody in them.
Oh man, do you remember that period of time? I think it was around Christmas where the what was it? The all of the servers were just like not functioning for the entirety of Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, there was like a solid week where the Starcraft just didn't function. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. Can you accept Taylor, and then we can head into the
I
lobby.
did not get an invite.
Oh, interesting. Let's do that one more time.
Starcraft's not carefully pieced together through duct tape and sticks. We all know that.
Yeah. Published by a small indie company, so you know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Very nice. We're finally about to enter the first game for tonight.
Yeah, well, only 10 minutes
ready,
off
and then we'll
6. I think we're fine.
Oh, easy.
Other than I don't have my tastosis level nonsense talk up to par.
Yeah, okay, so Tastosis, I used to sort of disrespect them. I was like, come on, these guys are not casting for real. Like, you know, when you're watching the GSL qualifiers and whatnot, it's like they really mess around. And then when I started getting into casting with Alpha X, I was like, oh wait, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Also, I heard that they're streaming or they're casting Valorant a lot nowadays. I'm not too sure about that. Anyways, here we go. Lightshade LE for game number 1. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map. Playing as the not Terran, red Zerg for the clan SC2 Swarm. It is Nigel.
And in the bottom right, as the blue Terran and actually playing Terran. Playing for Team Jiggly, which just, what a clan that is. We have Void.
That's right.
He even has a Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
Icon over his command center.
Crazy, dude. Jiggly, home to Vietnam's #1 Starcraft 2 player, I believe. Neo Micah, the legend himself, who took a game off of Maru, I think. That's how he sort of earned his chops. So we see Nigel actually opening up quite aggressively. What was that? A 17 gas, 17 pool, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was a 16 gas.
I'm not too sure about this.
The spawning pool. I'm curious what exactly the plan will be here. I would think roaches, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, right? Because, at this stage in the game, the Reaper is gonna be out, so Lings are not gonna do anything if the Reaper is microed properly, because Reapers obviously both outrange the melee units, the melee Zerglings, and they're also faster than slow Zerglings, so
That
no
said,
real
we
point.
see
Although,
Void opening Marine first,
hmm,
and not scouting with the SCV.
this is interesting. I don't know what to say. This feels like one of those Korean games actually, because I do know that. Let's see, who was it? It was DRG. So last night I was casting DRG. He liked to. Oh, there we go. We do see that Roachborn coming out from Nigel. But yeah, as I was saying, DRG did favor this sort of, asymmetrical, if you will, opening from Zerg, where he, instead of going for a hatch first, he went for a quick gas and a quick spawning pool. I think he wanted to play a little bit safe because he did macro out of it. He only made the first 4 lings and the first queen from his main base, and then got speed right after that. Um, and just to sort of deter against that Reaper a little bit earlier, I think. But
Yeah, and that's
doesn't
my
look like that's
honestly
the
my
case here.
preferred opening versus Terran these days. Is just get some Zerglings across the map, mostly just to keep the Reaper home, because I
Right,
don't want to
right.
micro. I'm bad at Starcraft. That said, we've got 6 roaches starting up, so this isn't even the somewhat more standard 3 Ravager shenanigans that people
Yeah,
like to
this
pull out.
is a lot of roaches, like a lot of roaches, and I'm kind of liking it because we do see Void going for that Hellion opener. Now Hellions, of course, they are fast, they are speedy, they are the scouts of the Terran army, but they don't do so well against armored units such as roaches, and we do see the Ravagers being morphed as well. So now it's up to Void to defend against this very early Zerg aggression.
With absolutely no idea that it's coming.
Yeah.
We do have a bunker with 3 Marines in it, so not quite a fully loaded bunker. And Void's
Although,
just about to get vision of this, I think.
yep. And
He
here we
sees it
go. The
now.
first wave comes in. That Ravager is doing a little bit of work. The roaches are starting to target down the bunker, but for now, it looks like the SUVs. Nope. The SUVs are targeted down with the biles, and it does look like the bunker will finally fall. We see Lings reinforcing, but is this enough Zerg to break through?
This will be enough to break through, but I don't know if it's going to get much more done than just kind of deterring this natural command center.
Right. Now, it does look like Nigel is not planning on stopping anytime soon. We see only Lings on the production tab as well as those Ravagers. I think one
Yeah,
of
it
them was
actually is.
morphed right on top.
Yeah, we've got the 3 Ravagers now, so that's going to be enough to pretty easily break down
Oh.
this wall.
Oh man, and that Hellion unfortunately got trapped. So now we see 2 Widowmines coming out. I do kind of like that because, we're seeing a mostly Ling-based army, but those 3 Ravagers are definitely anchoring, and it doesn't look like... I mean, we see one Liberator sieging up on top of the
Which,
mineral line, but
one Liberator
yeah.
can kill infinite Zerglings, but it's going to get biled down, although the repair comes off to hold off, keep this Liberator alive for a little bit longer.
Oh, I've
Ooh.
never seen that kind of bile before where so many SCVs fall. And we do see Nigel taking game number 1.
Alright,
Very
Nigel with some
interesting.
spicy strats there.
I like it. I really like it. Okay, so we're gonna do game number 2 coming up just in a little bit. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think the more common opener would be 3 Ravagers from the get-go, right? Now, obviously, it is hard to get all of that gas because Ravagers do cost a lot of gas. But if you pull it off and you're very crisp with your timing, and
Oh.
if your opponent is not watching, as we saw in that last game, then you definitely have the potential for a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna request that we put Nigel in for this one. I'm not
No,
prepared
I
to
want you
play
to
here.
cast your own match. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Is it considered stream cheating if I'm only have? I mean, I'd only have my vision, so I think that would be technically okay with the rules.
Yeah, you would just have to deafen in Discord, and then that way. you don't hear my very
There we
mediocre
go.
casting. Okay, 2,000 atmospheres. Here we go.
Alright, 2,000 atmospheres. I still haven't figured out fully how I feel about this map.
Yeah, it's not one of the smallest, but it's also not one of the biggest either, is it?
Yeah, it's a nice intermediate-sized map.
Yeah, well, anyways, here we are on game number 2, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Terran for the Jigglypuff clan. Oh man, Jigglypuff, Jigglypluff, whatever. It is Void.
And in the top right, with a one-game lead in this best-of-3 series, in the red trunks playing Zerg, we have Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel is he has been on that Masters 3 grind for quite a while, I think. As, you
Yeah.
know, anybody who reaches that level is.
Yeah, I think
We do
he's
see
been living
him.
that life that many of us have lived of Diamond 1, Masters 3, depending on the month and motivation and passion.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Void,
so
learning
we
from his mistakes, scouting with his OCV this time.
that's right,
I
and it
think
is going to confirm that it's hatch first.
I think this is a little bit early for an SCV, but not doesn't matter that much.
Right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
really just
excited to see how Void does with Terran mid game and whatnot, especially against Zerg, because in this matchup it is customary for the Terran to, you know, just sort of apply that pressure on the Zerg at almost all times. You know, make sure that the Zerg doesn't snowball out of control economically, and then hopefully win from there.
yeah. Yeah, and as Zerg, I feel like cheesing out a Terran, like Nigel did in that last game, is usually it's pretty tough to do. As long as Terrans scout it and know it's coming within 30 seconds or so, usually they can somewhat scramble together a defense. As ugly as it might be sometimes.
Yeah. No, I definitely know what you mean by ugly, right? We've seen, or I'm sure you have seen games where the Terran loses, you know, 15 SUVs or whatever, but still manages to hold on, and then they just turtle up for the rest of the game. You know, slowly take their third and their fourth, and then go from there. Oh, a little bit of cute Reaper micro. It doesn't look like it's gonna get too much done, or is it? Oh,
Ooh,
oh,
active.
Nigel.
He wants that drone, but Queen's gonna come out. And I think here it's more important to keep that Reaper alive, in theory, to try to harass this creep tumor. But Void doesn't go for the creep tumor either. That said, he is being annoying and blocking this third base. Gonna make Nigel
That's
work
right,
for it.
forcing the Queen and the Link. Oh, but the Reaper actually does get targeted down, only taking down one Zergling with it. SCV is forced back, and Nigel will take a little bit of a late third, but you know, nothing that's gonna matter too much in the long run.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's unfortunate for Void losing that Reaper, but the Reaper's time's pretty much done at this point. You can't always pair it with the Hellions for a little bit more harass, and genuinely be a nuisance, but for the most part, it's kind of done its job.
Right, right. Poor SCV. Can you imagine being SCV and like being ordered to go to the alien base and not away from it? And it's like, yeah, just take a look around. Like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do with that? You know? Oh man.
No intent of bringing that SUV home.
That's right.
I like this from Nigel with his fast Overlord speed.
It
Getting
should be
scout
coming up,
in,
right?
he gets in, sees the fusion core starport with a tech lab on it. He knows what's coming. Which, for those of you that are perhaps slightly newer to Starcraft and haven't experienced the wonder of this matchup, we're gonna see a Kettle Bruiser.
That's right. Now, these Hellions are actually just going to run straight past the
Hellions?
Queens, going to try to roast a few more drones, but that's actually a little bit unfortunate from Nigel because he did not have any Lings at the time that the Hellions were already across at the third. I believe Nigel had queued up 5 or so drones. So these Hellions are gonna, stay a bit longer than they usually would, and they're actually gonna get 9 drones. Now, 9 drones, is that a good amount if you're
I
the
think
Terran?
for
I think
four
it is, right?
Hellions, I mean, it pays for itself plus 50 minerals, and it's
Yeah,
drones for Hellions. So I think that was a worthwhile trade. Nigel, a little bit
yeah.
caught off guard there. Most Terrans wait till they hit about 6 to 8 Hellions before they YOLO the Hellions in the mineral line, if that's what they're gonna do. And usually
Right.
Terrans play a little bit more hesitantly on creep, kind of checking around the edges, trying to figure out if the Zerg's unprepared. And Void just going for it there. Gets a decent amount of workers for it.
Yeah, I always found that interaction between the slow-ish queens and the very fast Hellions so interesting, because if you watch pro games or high level games, they almost never just sort of sacrifice or, one-shot the Hellions all the way into the mineral line, knowing that they're not going to come back out. They usually test the waters. If they say, 2 or 3 queens, they usually don't go all the way in with the Hellions, but there we saw why it actually is advantageous to do that, especially when there are no lings, because the Hellions obviously they are faster than the queens, and if you can get past the queens, then you basically have free reign over the middle line. Now we
Yeah.
do see this yeah,
This is
Hellbat BC
dangerous.
push.
I don't know about
Yeah,
yeeting the battlecruiser there when battlecruiser had pretty much flown all the way across the map already, but it's here now,
yeah.
and this battlecruiser is probably not going home. 'Cause these Hellbats as a
Uh,
battlecruiser are just gonna kill everything around here.
these Hellbats are, certainly staying, and oh wow,
And
GG is
Nigel
called.
taps out.
Void actually ties up the series 1-1.
That was a nasty build.
Yeah.
I'll say
You and
that
I both
much.
being Zerg mains, we can agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been salty about a build like that a time or two on the ladder. Nigel just not quite with the queen count that I think he needed for it, and not getting the follow-up scout of that armory was pretty important. It's rather hard to defend that without either just a ton of queens or some banelings at least.
Yeah, we did see, we had like the 2 groups of maybe 3 queens each. And, 6 queens is a lot. That is a decent amount, but in that case it just wasn't enough. The Hellbats were able to roast all of the Zerglings, and then of course the BC just dealing consistent damage all the way through.
Yeah. And Nigel playing a tough, trying to find a tough line there of not overreacting to the fact that Terran's making battle cruisers, which was rather good that Nigel's at a really good worker count, but ultimately not enough queens.
Sorry, I can't help but, ask our players a few questions. So, apparently Void is actually a student at UC Santa Barbara, so I'm curious how he. Oh, I see. So he
Uh,
enrolls part-time at UCI, and that's how he plays on the Irvine team. Very cool. All right. So match point for both of our players. This is going to be the last for this best of 3.
yeah, whoever winner of this is in the prize.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
getting something, right?
That's right.
And of course, loser drops down to the loser's final, right?
Yes. So the loser from this series will go down into the losers semifinal, and then we've got a few more series coming up. So,
Yeah.
anyways, here we are on Oxide LE for game number 3, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the Blue Zerg. For the clan SC2 Swarm, it is Nigel.
And in the top right, as a red Terran from Clan Jiggly, we once again have Void. And playing on Oxide here, think this is when Nigel was discussing whether or not he wanted to veto it, as this
Hmm.
is tends to be a fairly Terran favorite map.
Yeah, we do see a lot of choke points and whatnot. The map overall is not conducive to, holding, for example, your third base on the straightaway.
Yeah,
Your
you're
third base in the triangle locations is a bit more open, but not by much, I would say.
yeah, the normal third base and kind of the straight line here has these nasty rocks that are certainly very tough to fight around if the Terran ends up doing a big siege tank push. And then of course the other third base and or fourth base location between the site blockers and more rocks creating a choke tends to make this a fairly difficult base to defend. That said,
Yep.
this is mostly against some standard marine plus some sort of splash bio play from the Terran against a normal Zerg going Ling Bane. All of that math certainly changes pretty significantly when we introduce mech and battle cruisers and
Oh no. Don't talk to me about that. I'm sorry. I need a moment here. So once again, we do see that Marine first opening from Void. It looks like we're not going to see that quick Reaper just to, be able to poke around and potentially get some drone kills, but mainly just to scout the Zerg. Make sure that they're up to no shenanigans, anything like that.
and Nigel correctly this time playing very cautiously with this first Overlord, not sending it to the relatively vulnerable pervert pillar out in front of the natural.
Yeah, we call those pervert pillars because they are pillars above which any unit that sort of sits on top of it is considered on the high ground. And so, if anybody has watched Star Wars, they know that the high ground matters a lot. And if you put an overlord there on top of the pillar, floating above the pillar, it's not going to be seen by your opponent, meaning that you have vision and they don't.
Yeah, which is a fairly standard thing in StarCraft to have a pillar near the front base to let Zerg kind of get some information, as Zerg is pretty much forced to play very reactionary most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So it's very easy if you don't have that vision to just die to the first few units Terran makes and moves out with. This map in particular, this pillar is a little bit weird in that you can get vision of most of the pillar from the Terran main base, and
Yeah,
it's extra vulnerable if you end up flying a building over to get vision of the Overlord.
yeah, Nigel is a bit hard supply blocked, it looks like. So he's going to put down a Roach Warren. Now, I do like this. The Roach Warren, maybe it's a little bit early. Maybe I'm not knowledgeable enough to know, but what would you say? Is this more, this seems like a defensive sort of Roach Warren, to deter against Hellions, that kind of thing, Hellbats
I
possibly.
would certainly think so, although having recently watched the GSL finals, it could be many things.
Right. Now, for our viewers, GSL is Global StarCraft League, and that is where the best of South Korean StarCraft 2 players do get out every season.
Yeah, of course. Similar to baseball there in Korea, they call it the Global StarCraft League when it's mostly the Korean League.
There's a lot of history there. Yeah. Some of it is very contentious or, you know, scandalous, if you will, but it
Generally,
is what it
I
is
mean,
now.
they're pretty good at StarCraft over there in Korea.
Oh yeah,
And
no, I,
with
I was just referring to the region locking and whatnot.
yeah,
Oh, and now we do see the first, what is that,
Hellions.
6, 7 Hellions coming in.
Ooh, Hellions made a little bit of a wrong turn there. A couple of them are gonna get let out here, take a little bit more damage on the way out. This one Hellion doesn't get focused down, so most of the Hellions actually get out.
Huh,
And we have
that
the
was
battle
interesting.
cruiser coming up and an armory, so Void rolling it back.
At the same time, we do see Nigel definitely looking to get very aggressive, doing a, I love it, a queen drop
Oh, the
with
Queen.
roaches.
Not quite the
Yeah,
German
this is,
taxi, but very similar to it.
yeah, yeah, let's say,
German
roll
Uber,
back the timer
perhaps.
maybe 4 minutes. Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is, I don't know about this, whenever you're in a situation like this as the Zerg, it's easier, in my opinion, for the Terran to, reinforce and play with their options because, like, for example, these Hellions in the BC are immediately going to pounce forward.
Queens are
Some of
gonna
these
get
roaches are going to come
slowed
back.
back.
Okay,
Do
yeah,
we
we do
have
see
any
the
more
four queens
queens
coming
out on
back.
the map? Is it just the 4 queens, which I don't think that's
Uh,
enough. And we don't see any more queens on the way. These roaches
okay,
definitely,
now
they
we
can be walking across the map.
we do see Nigel starting up queen production again, using those transfuses as all of the Hellions have been taken care of. Now it's just up to the roaches to hold down the fort on the ground, but it looks like Nigel is going to go for a counterattack with the roaches and at the same time try to defend as best as he can with the queens as well as some spores.
I'm not totally sure about sending the queens across the map here, although I guess another battlecruiser is about to finish up, so he would need them to clean that up. And we have 3 queens about to pop, 1 from each hatch. And this first battlecruiser is going to have its teleport up soon as well.
Right. Yeah, like you said, the queens being shuttled across the map. Don't know about that, but here we go. Nigel does look to move forward, so he is going to target down the bunker. It is going to be repaired. The 4 queens do drop, and they do have a lot of energy, so they are going to be able to transfuse for the time being.
This is gonna get weird. A lot of SCVs are gonna go down. Nigel needs to make sure he keeps making queens behind this, otherwise, eventually these battlecruisers kill everything.
Exactly, yeah. So we do see one of the queens sort of straggling behind for now. Transfuse is even going down on the roaches as well. It looks like Nigel, he's he's trying to go for the kill right now, and I don't blame him. If you look at
Yeah,
the supply, Nigel is doubling his opponent
said
right now.
Void has 4 command centers here. He can lose every SCV and be fine, I think. As long
Yeah,
as these battlecruisers stay alive, Nigel's not got a good answer for them really on the way yet. He does have a good number of queens, but not enough yet.
yeah, that is true. It's like you said, right? This game got weird pretty fast. We do see 3 battle cruisers on the field with the
I'd like
fourth
to
one.
see these queens make it home, but Nigel's gonna drop
Oh,
them out, and
oh,
they get a little bit more damage done. All said and done, we're down to 12 SCVs versus 29 drones. And here come
oh,
the
and the BCs
battlecruisers.
immediately TP. That's actually really smart, right? Because you know that nothing's at home if the Zerg is just that committed across the map. Now, these first drones are going to get targeted down. There are 3 queens and a swarm on the low ground. Are they going to be able to hit? I don't know about
I don't
this.
think this is enough.
Yeah.
I think the battlecruisers roam free here. They're gonna clean up
Oh,
everything
man.
eventually.
Oh, this is so unfortunate. It feels bad to lose against BCs once, but to lose against it twice, I know that feeling very well.
This is also just a very frustrating Zerg experience of not being able to shoot at your opponent's units.
Yeah. Especially when one of them has already racked up 43 kills, which is just ridiculous.
Oof, 43,
Oh,
25, and 7.
oh man. As a Zerg, this is really painful to watch. These 3 BCs, they can have 1 health, but they're still alive and they still deal their ridiculous DPS.
And we're about to see the worker count exactly mirrored from what it was just a few minutes ago. And battlecruisers are gonna go home. Void, I think, accurately has determined he's done enough damage.
What a back and forth. That hurt.
So I think this is gonna be a slow death from Nigel at this point. A slow and painful bleeding out by the battlecruisers, but Void pretty content to just macro behind this.
Yeah, I agree. Now, it's what you mentioned earlier, right? It wasn't the SCV count that was critical. It was the number, the sheer number of command centers. So these 4 orbitals were, pumping out as many SCVs as possible, and 4 command centers can definitely pump them out at a pretty fast pace. Void
Yeah.
actually going up to double BC for the. Oh my god, it's like you said, it's going to be a slow death. I mean, Nigel, earlier he was doubling his opponent in supply, and now that has completely flipped.
So Nigel's got enough workers he can pretty continuously use all of his larvae on workers. And of course, with Zerg mechanics, you can spend literally everything you own on making more workers. So we see Nigel's pretty quickly narrowing the gap in worker count. Income's going to be very much in Void's favor for a while due to the mules. And frankly, a better spread of workers. But here comes another big push that Nigel can't afford to defend.
Oh, wow.
So
TG is immediately called. Man.
that was a pretty good series, though.
That really was. Wow. Yeah. I was kind of rooting for Nigel there, but those BCs were just, too much.
As a Zerg player myself, I have a hard time rooting for the person making battlecruisers, but
Yeah, definitely.
very well played there. Have you seen how the rest of our brackets played out at this point in time?
Not sure. So I think we're gonna be waiting on, let's see, Game Friend and Jimmy, and as soon as they're done, we can go into the losers semifinal.
All right, do we know where they're at on their game?
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy just got out of his game, so I'm gonna ping him real quick, ask how they're going, and then we'll get right back into the action ASAP.
And I think while we're settling that out and figuring out how we're going across this next bit of the bracket, will be a good time for a quick message from Corsair. So let me send the stream over to one of these real quick. We will be right back. That one. There we go. Correct scene setup. All right. We are back. So we're gonna go into losers semifinal next, which is one extra series on top of what we had initially planned on. But again, I can't complain about more Starcraft. And of course, the UCSD special with Matt and Jimmy playing it out.
That's right. So both of them are players on our team. Gonna be very interesting. Both of them are Terran. And both of them, they tend to play slightly different styles, I want to say. I haven't played them too much, so I don't think I can judge, but if I had to say, Jimmy is a bit more aggressive, especially when
Yeah.
it comes to Zerg.
Of the adjectives out there to describe Jimmy's playstyle, definitely aggressive, I would include.
Among other things that we can't really get into here.
We'll avoid those ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, Jimmy likes his aggressive playstyles, likes to get out there and be active. I think Matt likes to, if anything, play a bit too honest sometimes, but likes to play a nice Starcraft the way it's meant to be played sort of game.
The way it's meant to be played. Rogue. Excuse me.
Alright, are they setting up vetoes right now? So what's going on?
Yeah, we're just waiting on vetoes to confirm which maps we're going to be playing on. So this is going to be another best of 3. We are in the loser semifinal here. So the winner of this is going to face off against Nigel in the 3rd place match. Oh wait, oops. Don't join that. My bad. All right.
good old TVT, the matchup that we are both super familiar with, very versed.
Oh, yeah. Play that all the time. All right, looks
Definitely.
like our players are ready. We're gonna head on into game one. All right, here we go. I think this map was the first map for our last series as well, right? 2000
Yeah.
atmospheres.
No,
Yeah.
last time we played on. We had the Roach Bust in game one.
Mm,
I can never
right.
remember map names.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm gonna have to meditate on that for a little bit. Anyway, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the red Terran player for the clan Yunhao. It is Matfus.
And then top right, playing as the Yellow Terran, also of Clan Yunhao, we have Sweet. We will most likely accidentally continue to call Jimmy for the rest of the series.
Yeah, yeah. So for our viewers, just a quick disclaimer before we go any further. Sweet is Jimmy. Sweet equals Jimmy, and then Matfus equals Matt.
Of
So a
course,
bit of
I also
history
want to
about the Yunhao.
I want to
Yeah.
comment on Jimmy's taking my inspiration with the typed out "Good luck and have fun."
That's right.
No,
And of course,
missing the
Matt
capitalization
responding.
on the words though. I mean, that could he could clean up his play a little bit there. I think.
Yeah, there's room for improvement there, I'd have to say. But yeah, the Yunhao clan, so we created it to honor the greatest StarCraft 2 player who has ever graced this campus. His name was Yunhao. No, I'm sorry, his real name was Dragon God. And so he was this crazy, I want to say like 6,000 MMR Protoss player, and he did nothing but study. He took 8 classes per quarter. He graduated in 2 years.
Ew.
He was an international student from China, and unfortunately, you guys never got to meet him. Excuse me.
We did not met him
I
either.
yeah. And he was crazy. He just, studied all day. He never played StarCraft, but he was somehow 6,000 MMR, and he proved it too. He was definitely the ace of the team. That was, of course, before he moved back to China, so we do miss him. But yeah, anybody who names themselves Dragon God, like they better be good. Um, And so, yeah, so he played a very specific style. We called him Mini Zest because that was all he did. He never played StarCraft. He would just watch Zest play. Zest is a professional South Korean Protoss player, and he would just emulate him like second by second, every single little thing, and that got him to 6,000 MMR. It was amazing.
Now, on the matter of the StarCraft thing that's happening, we had some interesting divergences in build that eventually kind of turned into the same thing. We had a slightly earlier gas from Jimmy, and he's generally just mining less gas. He's even started to pull off gas. Led to a slower barracks, but a slightly faster factory, and then definitely jumping up to the starport a little bit faster as well. Although it's all pretty close.
Yeah, I think this is called convergent evolution, but if my
Yes,
biologists in the chat could help
that
me out
makes
with
sense.
that. Yeah. All right, so we do see Matt immediately taking map control, trying to see what kind of damage
We
he
do
can do,
have.
and I don't think this is enough from Jimmy to actually hold off. The first Heli and
Yeah,
the first Reaper do get picked off. Oh,
this is kind of looking dangerous for Jimmy. Jimmy ended up getting all these add-ons, which meant he was down on unit protection for a long time.
yeah, TVT is definitely one of those matchups where, of course it's a mirror, which means that it's very different from how you play Terran against, Zerg, as we saw in the last series, or against Protoss, the other race that we have not seen tonight yet. But it's kind of weird, right? You usually want to get your add-ons pretty quickly as the Terran, but not in the case of the mirror. In the case of the mirror, you do want to sort of save that for later. You know, build up a good Reaper count, a good Hellion count in case of, you know, if your opponent does the same thing. The best deterrent is to go for the same thing. So
And with that, we see Matt with a little bit of a worker advantage here, up about 4 SCVs, and getting some more worker kills here potentially, but we lose all these Reapers. So Matt kind of forfeits map control in favor of getting a little bit better worker lead.
yeah, now here's the thing. Did those Reapers actually see the tech lab on the starport? Tech labs, as well as other buildings, they have an animation that shows when they're, you know, producing something. And that tech lab is producing cloak for the Banshees. So those Banshees are going to be invisible harass units. But Matt, of course, does already have a Raven all set up at home. So I don't think the cloak Banshees are going to get too much done with
That
that
is
Cyclone on
always the
defense as well.
question of, I mean, he saw the tech lab and is researching. Whether or not he saw it is another question.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's fully aware of the possibility of cloaked banshees coming out.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm not too sure how much damage these banshees are gonna get out. I'm not too optimistic, truth be told.
Both players keeping up with their SCV count pretty consistently, so we're not seeing either of them pull away. Worker gap is pretty much what it was about a minute ago. We'll see if Jimmy's able to get anything done here. I think with the Raven Cyclone combo,
Along
Raven
with
can
the
probably
Vikings.
drop a auto turret along with Cyclone, lock on the other Raven, or on the other Banshee, and I don't think much gets done here.
Yeah, wow, that was actually really nice reaction time from both players. Immediately pulling back the banshees, that way they didn't get shot down by the cyclone.
And with that, narrows the worker count a little bit. So overall, we're pretty close here.
In my personal, very limited experience, I feel like worker counts in mirrors, you know, in Protoss versus Protoss and Zerg versus Zerg, it seems to matter a lot. But in Terran versus Terran, I don't usually see a deficit or a gain of 4 workers, you know, affecting the actual gameplay too much.
These Banshee's gonna go down to the Vikings. So Matt clears that up and feels confident in moving across the map. Um, this could be a rather dangerous move out, although there's a lot of siege tanks. But Jimmy's about to have stim, whereas Matt just started his.
Hmm.
So this will
Yeah,
likely turn
definitely.
into Jimmy kind of senses this is coming, sets up his siege tanks. I think Matt has to go home now. Although he might have a window on the right-hand side here to get something. Or
Oh, he heard you. He's gonna load up those tanks. Nice double
look at
drop,
the
I think.
3 tanks and 4 Marines. Not a standard attack, I don't think.
Yeah. We usually see more Marines for reference. You know, the tanks, they tend to be more of a brute force sort of, you know, main fighting army. But the Marines, those are good for harassing. Now it does look like these 3 tanks and these Marines are gonna get a lot of damage done on the high ground. Taking down 5 SCVs so far. These Vikings also helping out a lot. This is a bit of an awkward position for Jimmy because
This
it's gonna be tough to break.
this is why I don't play Terran right here, because
Yeah.
just a little bit of gap in your vision, and I don't know how you break that. And at
Wow,
the
look at
very
that.
least, breaking it efficiently is going to be rough. A
Both
lot of the
players
barracks
actually
going down.
completing their upgrades at almost exactly the same time. That's actually really impressive. I am impressed.
Alright, Jimmy going
Oh,
for
and
the
look
big
like
bust
Jimmy.
here. And I
Oh,
don't know if he's got enough. And he's not
yeah.
really got production anymore. Let me go ahead and tap out.
Oh man. So Matt took game number 1 with a very, very nice little double drop. Of course, did have that Raven as well as the air army in the form of the Vikings to support that. So a bit of an asymmetrical attack.
definitely a unique one. Um, but again, I know very little of TVT. Also, Light Shade. There we go. That's a map that we played first game of this
Oh,
last
there we
series
go.
on.
Yeah.
I know my StarCraft maps.
Wait, we have new maps? What? Crazy.
And here we go for game 2 on Light Shade.
Yep, game number 2. Here we go. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, playing as the yellow Terran player. For the clan Yunhao, it is Sweet.
And in the bottom right, as the red Terran, also playing for Team Yunhao, we have Memphis. Up a game in the series, in the best of 3, so one game away from taking the series, in fact.
I love best of threes. They get so crazy so fast.
Sometimes it feels like we're just getting started when it's already over, though. But
Oh,
appears
definitely. I mean, you could have something like two cheeses, right? And then both games end at the 4-minute mark. And it's like, what? Total game time was 8 minutes? Hello?
exactly. You know,
Of
as
course,
much.
that doesn't look like it's. I don't know. It's hard to say in a TVT because obviously we saw Matt going for that early Reaper Hellion pressure. Although that was just pressure, I don't think he was looking to kill Jimmy's.
I don't think he was looking
Uh,
to kill him, but there's also we've seen many a TVT where you show up with those units and pick off a unit or two that you're not supposed to get as easily as you did, and the game just ends.
right, right.
Uh,
We have a bit of a fist fight here. Two SCVs engaging each other. Oh,
Jimmy doesn't want to give up on this position, wants to keep away that supply depot. Um, Not that the supply depot really matters as much as just trying to be annoying. And Reaper's gonna come out here, and that SCV shouldn't be long for this world.
yeah. Now Jimmy is opening up similarly greedy as he did last game, right? We see that quick, natural command center, which is more of what you would see against a Zerg or a Protoss. Now, I'm not too sure if he wants to do this because he did see that Matt was pretty successful with his Reaper Hellion harass in the beginning of the game.
And
So
just
he is
now
going to
putting
scout
down
that
the
there's no
second
natural.
gas.
Yeah, which is pretty late in this matchup. Again, going for the reactor add-on. Reactors allow you to build 2 units at a time, as provided that they are the right units. So you can't produce 2 tanks at a time. That'd be pretty scary.
Puts him in a dangerous spot. Um, Fortunately for Jimmy, Matt doesn't know that he can kill him, but this is certainly a window with Matt having 2 Reapers and Jimmy only having the 1 Reaper and 1 Marine. That 2 Reapers should win that 100% of the time. And then
Yeah.
those 2 Reapers would just get free reign of this whole base for a long time. But of course, it's hard to know that for sure. It's a little bit of a risky opening Jimmy's going for, and it looks like it'll pay off, although here comes the same move out from this last game.
Now, I do like this bunker. So, of course, if you have the Marines set up already, as well as the Cyclone. So we do see a Cyclone coming out for Jimmy, just like in the last game. But this bunker is going to make a pretty big difference in anchoring Jimmy's army.
There we go. Marines getting the bunker. I was getting kind of nervous there with the Marines standing
Yeah.
around the bunker.
Right. Well, and here we go. So first Hellion actually does get targeted down. These Reapers are looking to get some damage. It doesn't look like they're going to find too much. The Hellions are actually... Matt's army is caught a little bit... Oh, are they? I mean, the nades are pretty good as well, but yeah.
Ultimately, he trades out okay enough with that.
Yeah, that was...
And I think Jimmy could have been a little bit more patient there and pretty much cleaned that up for free, but of course would have also lost some mining time on the natural for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
overall, very good adjustment by Jimmy. I was scared that, we see him doing the exact same opener with almost no adjustments. It's like, you're kind of asking to be harassed again, but okay, that came out really wrong. What I meant by harassed was in the StarCraft sense. Okay. So it looks like this Hellion 3 Marine move out is going to kill off one
kills
SCV.
kills an entire STV and it's gonna go home.
Yeah. Does force a lot of lost mineral mining time, but
Especially on
not
these
much else.
3 mules that were dropped down. Oh, another STV goes
Oh,
down. I like this.
yeah,
This is
this is
kind of
pretty
cute.
cute. Yeah. Oh, this Cyclone definitely getting value. I like it a lot, actually, but
5 kills on the Cyclone. It's been doing work. Oh,
oh
if it
man.
moves in and tries to, I don't think there's a world where it gets this siege tank though.
Yeah. Oh, okay, first shot goes off. Siege Tank does actually reinforce Jimmy. So he's gonna siege up, I believe that's in range of the mineral line. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
in
kind of
range of
annoying
these
for Matt to deal
3
with.
mineral spots over here.
Hmm.
Um, I think Matt has the tools to break this if he does it carefully.
Oh,
I think
but not if he
throwing
loses the
his
first
siege
tank like
tank
that.
at a siege tank is not the way to do that.
A
Jimmy,
pretty good disable goes off on Jimmy's tank, but he does have a second tank coming up, and the Raven is out of energy. Now, these SCVs are going to give chase, and the medevacs, they don't really have a purpose anymore. There is no bio to sort of support.
yeah,
Just as I say that, we see some reinforcing Marines. So it does look like Jimmy's trying to get pretty aggressive here.
yeah. That with that first break, Jimmy actually ended up locking on to an SUV with the first Cyclone
Oh,
lock on. I think if he had targeted the Raven initially or Marines, that might have gone a lot better for him. But as is, maintains this position, which is, as you said, just annoying.
yeah, definitely. And we see that Matt is struggling just a little bit to spend his money, as well as keep up in terms of the supply. Of course, we do see Jimmy with the count at 90, whereas Matt is struggling to hit 60, if
We
anything.
see
So,
Jimmy with a lead in just about every aspect except for STEM. As Jimmy doesn't even own. He does own a Tech Lab barracks.
hmm. He heard you. He just started stim.
There we go.
Nice.
Jimmy, you're not listening to the stream, right?
I mean, even if he is, we have nothing to do but sing his praises. He's got 2 tanks set up outside of Matt's base, and now the SCVs are pulled off the line to repair the orbital, actually. So this is very awkward with 2 tanks shelling away at it.
Yeah, and Matt's just not quite got the production to try to break this yet. Although he's going for it with 2 siege tanks and no stem from Jimmy. This might turn out okay.
Yeah, now we do see a large chunk of SCVs going down. That second tank in the back actually did not siege up, and GG is called. Sweet, takes game number 2.
All right, tying up the series.
I like it. We're going to a game 3.
As you can very clearly tell from our casting, we are super familiar with TVT, and I know exactly how fights are gonna go.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. We can even predict with 95% certainty.
That shooty boys are gonna die, siege tanks are gonna blow stuff up. I
Medevacs are
know
gonna
that
fly
much.
around.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, exactly. All right, looks like both players are really eager to close out this series one way or another.
Yeah. So we go into Oxide, a very Terran favored map, so I think it's safe to say that a Terran's probably gonna win this map.
Exactly. Yep.
I missed the transition a little bit here. Alright.
Oh. All right, let's remake. A little bit too eager there. We forgot to race check, so we're gonna remake the lobby real quick.
Hey, race switching is allowed. Technically,
Oh, that's
that
true.
could be a legal game.
All right, let's run that back.
Do over.
Yep, do over. All right, Terran and Terran. Here we go. Matt and Swiftfire, aka Sweet, aka Jimmy, aka Steam Buns. He goes by a lot of names. It's all very confusing, but we're
Steam
okay with
buns
that.
might be my favorite.
Yes! Such a wholesome name. Actually, I think Game Friend might be a more wholesome name.
Game friend is pretty good.
Yeah. Purity, like it's almost trying a little bit too hard, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, game number 3 of this best of 3 series, the last in the series, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing for Team Yunhao as the Red Terran, it is Matfus.
And in the top right, playing in yellow as Terran, again from Team Yunhao, and also our local resident StarCraft player here at UCSD. We have Jimmy slash Sweet slash. Honestly, I think he responds to a lot of things. He usually knows when you're
Yeah.
talking to him.
Yeah. Hey, you. That Terran player over there. Yeah, this is a fairly even matchup. If I have it correct, I think these players are within a couple hundred MMR of each other. I'm not too sure, but I have to
Yeah, I
check
think
on that.
I think Matt's generally favored here, but Jimmy's been on a roll lately of improvement and really working on some things.
Yeah, yeah, Jimmy. Both of them really are very passionate about the game, which I really admire.
Yeah,
It's pretty difficult to. I mean, I'm sure that other esports players and other players in general can relate, but I don't know. I just feel in my personal experience, a game like Starcraft in particular is very punishing, and I personally have not laddered for quite a little bit.
the 1v1 nature of StarCraft is very rough. That there's there's not really any excuses when something goes horribly wrong. That's pretty much always your fault.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, I would exactly agree with that. Oh,
Not to mention
Matt's
the game
SCV.
itself. Matt's SCV should get hunted down by this Reaper, so a little
Yeah,
bit of a micro battle there that ultimately means nothing.
yeah, no.
So Jimmy's SCV gonna make it home.
Mm,
So many a story to tell to his SCV friends at home.
yeah,
But we see
look at all
both
my
players
stars.
going for a one gas expand on this map.
Interesting.
Oh man,
Oh, Jimmy's
aggressive
Reaper actually
Jimmy
gonna
going
delay the
for the
camping.
Reaper with 3 kills.
Wow. Yeah, what a champ.
As I said, Jimmy and I have been playing quite a few 2v2s when we've really been working on Jimmy's unit control. So shenanigans like that have he's won a game or two with that alone.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, you guys have been grinding out the 2v2s quite a little bit. I like that.
Yeah, we've been working on some different unit comps and trying to get Jimmy used to controlling new units and playing the game in different ways.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And yeah,
Definitely
we've
part
won a
of
game or
the
two by Jimmy just microing a Reaper a lot.
nice. Yeah, interesting that you mentioned that. So earlier I spoke on an esports panel over at the second Triton Gaming Twitch stream, which by the way you guys should definitely check out tomorrow. They have a lot of great stuff lined up in addition to this main stream. And yeah, we were covering some stuff like the 1v1 nature of StarCraft, you know, the toxicity that exists in esports and you know, sort of how to combat that. But yeah, definitely unforgiving in terms of like if something went wrong, no offense, but you have nobody to blame for but yourself in this game, right? Whereas in other sort of team-based games, you might be able to, you know, share a bit of the blame with your teammates, right? But no such thing here. It's if you lost, it really is just because your opponent played better than you. So
Yeah, and of course, team games, I mean, you both have the option of blaming your teammates, which is never a healthy thing.
Right,
but can
right.
certainly protect your ego a little bit more. And you also have the option of sort of learning as a team, whereas StarCraft, it's the learning environment's a lot harder to get a social aspect to. And Jimmy with this marine spread moving across the map like he's looking for hidden command centers.
Interesting.
Oh, I don't know what exactly this is about, other than just looking for maybe he's looking for that standard 3 Reapers and 2 Hellion move out.
Yeah, speaking of moving out, we do see it looks like Matt is looking to put on some pressure. 2 tanks and a bunch of Marines.
And Jimmy
Oh,
just barely misses this move out by Matt.
oh, that's
Somehow
unfortunate.
Matt's gonna find the one path across this map that perfectly disguises everything.
Yeah, this is amazing. And it is not looking good for Jimmy at all. He literally just put down a third command center, and it looks like he's going to go for a pretty big double drop.
So we
Now,
have
there
a
is a
siege
tank here,
tank
a
in
Raven.
position.
Yeah,
Raven needs to get to work, dropping a missile turret here,
yeah.
and actually managed to hang
Wow.
on here. That went pretty well for him.
Oh no, that
That's
medevac
oof.
just barely escapes the Raven's auto turret, surviving with just a little bit of health, but of course keeping the 6 Marines inside of it alive. That went a lot better for Jimmy than I expected. I did not notice the high ground tanks, so obviously very important anchor whenever you're
Yeah,
dealing
Jimmy
with
playing
drops.
very defensively here.
Yeah, yeah.
Really sitting back like he knows something about this particular game that I certainly don't. But I mean,
The
it
opponent maybe.
paid off for him with a 4 worker lead. He's got his third command center almost finished, whereas Matt's is about halfway done. Getting this extra
Yeah, this is
production going.
yeah, it's a pretty good position for Jimmy. He's got a lot of barracks on the way, so once he gets that third up and running, he's all set to just keep on pumping out bio, I think.
And he's even got Stim and 1-1 on the way, whereas Matt's going for Mech.
Okay. A bit of a switch up. I like it. Yeah,
And
I don't
Jimmy's
think
starting up a
Jimmy.
4th CC under this
Oh,
single drop.
uh, um, Jimmy?
Uh,
Are we good?
does
Are
he?
you sure you're not listening to the
I
stream?
guess
Are you
he's
sure?
seen the 3 factories, so he knows he's playing against Mech.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I guess it does make sense, but oof, what a risk.
this is definitely something we've been trying to figure out of breaking Terrans making siege tanks.
Yeah.
So curious to see what how Jimmy decides to play this. Looks like he's starting by he's gonna play this like he's playing Zerg and have a lot of stuff and make a lot of stuff.
Basically out expand, outproduce his opponent. I like it. Pretty solid strat.
Yeah. We see Matt with a 4th CC, almost ready to go already.
Yeah, definitely economic powerhousing I'm seeing out of these two players right now.
Jimmy
Of
going
course,
orbital on
Jimmy.
his 4th, which is
Yeah. Hmm.
I think a little bit of non-standard, but not super weird.
Yeah, yeah. I think we, as Zergs, would definitely prefer this over a planetary at the third or
Oh,
something crazy like that.
as we say that, he changes his mind and makes planetary at the 4th.
Man, I think he really is listening. Oh, this one tank here to anchor. They are going to jump on top of the low ground tank, but it doesn't look like they're going to do too much. We do see a full energy Raven as well as submarines just to shoo that away as Jimmy goes for a double drop in the main of Matt. There's actually nothing to defend here, so this double drop is going to get a bit of damage done for now.
Yeah, gets 8 SCVs. Gonna shoot down at least one siege tank. Does he get? He gets the second
Oh,
siege
wow.
tank. And a third siege tank. Wow. Marauders are
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, 3 tanks and 10 SUVs. Either of those are pretty good. Both of those combined, I mean, I don't think you could have hoped for a better trade there.
Yeah, and after that we see, I mean, Jimmy with a 700 resource lead in terms of resources lost. He's got 2-2 finished. I'd like to see him start 3-3 as soon as possible and then have a big 3-3 timing against potentially, like, maybe 1-1 mech.
Oh man, just take a look at the upgrades tab. Once Jimmy rolls through with this army, okay, that is a pretty big tank line that Matt has, so I don't think Jimmy's going to be able to push up
He
into
can't
it.
break the natural, but the third base sitting with one
Oh.
siege tank does not even get a shot off.
Yeah, very nice disable. And you know what? I think with this third orbital going down, it's going to be a pretty slow, maybe painful sort of bleeding out for Matt because at this point in time, Jimmy has solidified his
See,
economic lead. Now, as I say
double the
that, we
Hellbat
do see a
drop.
bit of a Hellbat push, but not going to get nearly as much damage done. Oh, but there is another one in the natural.
And Hellions denying a fifth base from going down. Medevac's gonna get shot down. Nope, Medevac's hanging in there.
Oh, oh, that's really cute.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Look at that splash coming in. Yeah, but it will
Alright,
get cleaned up eventually.
game got a little bit weird there, but all things said and done, these two siege tanks keeping Matt from moving out.
Yeah. Matt scans and realizes, hey, it's only two. There's nothing else here. Okay, that is a lot of siege tanks and a lot of Vikings. It is a pretty scary army, but, you know, the supply lead is undeniably in favor of Jimmy right now, so. Oh, but
Yeah.
is he going to catch the tanks off guard? It looks like he will. He's going to stim forward, but...
And no siege
Oh,
up on the tanks
no!
even. I actually didn't like Jimmy
Oh.
taking that fight. I think it would have been... I thought it was going to be better for him to slow that down and get 3-3 up, but
Yeah.
takes the fight, takes the series. And again, I think
Yeah.
that's a little bit of an upset.
That is, in my opinion, that definitely is. Very well played by both players. Matt really didn't feel like he had a choice except to move out there, which is why we saw those tanks about to move across the map. Now, I do believe he did have a small chance to win that fight if he did siege up on time, which of course was not the case, and so Jimmy was able to pounce on top of it with his quicker, more DPS heavy bio, and that was it.
Yeah.
Very well played.
All right. So with that, that was the losers semifinals, right?
That's right. So we are going into the third place match first. It's going to be another Zerg versus Terran. We're going to have Jimmy, aka Sweet, who just won this best of three, going up against Nigel in a best of five.
Which just should be another really close series.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So it's kind of funny because all of us are pretty close at MMR here. So
Yeah, Nigel's sitting about, what was it, 70 MMR above Jimmy right now?
which for reference is basically nothing in
Yeah,
StarCraft
but when
terms.
we're looking at 4,000 MMR here is a pretty small differential.
Now, as they do their vetoes, I feel bad. I feel like I'm kind of exposing Nigel and Jimmy, but I am really curious as to their win rates. So,
Yeah, I
Nigel
don't
being
know
the first
how
seed.
Jimmy's typically done versus Zerg. I think he's had a number of changes in his playstyle in the matchup. I know Nigel struggled a little bit versus Terran, mostly just in being able to close out games.
Mm.
But Nigel's also got, he's got a good list of some silly builds, so. So, that said, Nigel's also looking at this point, I don't know what his outlook is on this series and potentially the next, but Nigel looking to play, I think, two more ZVTs this series and the finals, assuming he wins. Whereas Jimmy's likely playing two different matchups. So Jimmy has nothing to hide, whereas Nigel might have a little bit.
Hmm. All right, so we're on a bit of a break here. I think we can run the ad after this best of five, and then we'll
Yeah,
head into the grand finals after that. So,
yeah, I think that's a good plan. Of course, we could always do another big shout out to Corsair for sponsoring the tournament. Again, can't always appreciate anybody willing to throw some money at StarCraft. Myself.
oh yeah, definitely.
And Corsair's made some nice stuff for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I think there was a period of time where I actually had only Corsair peripherals. That was a long time ago, though. But Corsair is definitely quality.
Yeah, I
All
haven't
right.
actually used any of the Corsair peripherals. They've pretty much always been my backup plan, but I'm a fan of gimmicks, so Corsair tends to play it relatively safe with just good equipment. Whereas
Yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
other companies
that's a
that
good way
like
to
to
put it.
just throw weird things into stuff, and I've kind of fallen into that trap many a time.
What? Weirder than RGB? Be weirder than that. I don't know what you're
Well, I've
talking
got a
about.
mouse with a joystick on it. I guess my keyboard's kind of generic, but
All right. Actually, we are gonna take a bit of a water break. Do you think we could run that second ad now and then?
yeah, we might as
All
well.
right.
And while we're
Sounds good.
talking about Corsair stuff,
Yeah.
let me
There we
send
go.
us over to the other ad. So we'll be right back. And we are back.
That's right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get
Again,
game one started for you guys here.
a little bit of reverse trash talk going on in the chat here.
We see the heart emoji count is only up to one, so it's not, too much,
Yeah.
but a decent amount of reverse trash talking. Singing each other's praises as we go into this best of five. All right. I was gonna call this oxide for whatever reason, but this is light shade, right? I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. Game number one here on Lightshade LE, finding in the top left corner of the map, playing for the clan Yunhao. It is sweet.
And in the bottom right, as the red Zerg playing for SC Swarm with Nigel. So this is also a fun matchup, just in that yeah, UCSD and UC Davis have both our StarCraft communities have mixed pretty well over the last month or so. So as much
Yeah,
as Jimmy's not
definitely.
really played against the guys for Davis all that much, this is kind of fun seeing the two groups kind of clash here.
Yep, both are very honest players. It's a running joke that Jimmy doesn't know what the word cheese means because he does not cheese. And of course, Nigel, also a very macro-oriented player. Now we did see him pull out a very nice three Ravager build against Void as the Terran in an earlier series today, but overall, he is, in my opinion, a pretty standard Zerg as well.
Yeah. And of course, Nigel always makes me a little bit jealous with his creep spread. So very good in the pretty late macro games. Jimmy as well though has been, especially lately, practicing a lot with some higher tech stuff.
It's scary. You give Jimmy a bunch of ghosts and get me out. I don't know how to counter
He
ghosts.
he understands that ghosts just beat everything that is Zerg. They're
Yep.
like the Archons of Terran.
Yeah, sounds about right. Except the thing is, they're even better than Archons because they can kill Archons too. So
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not good. And this first Reaper is pretty aggressive going for that drone. Not quite getting the kill. Going up onto the high ground, but I think that Queen is gonna pop. Yep.
Yeah, shouldn't get much here, but just being annoying. Of course, Jimmy also keeping this SCV over here at the third base. I'm kind of surprised. I've almost always taken this low ground third base in this matchup.
Oh, really? Why do you prefer that?
A little bit more open space to fight around, whereas in the upper
That is
right, it's a
true.
little bit harder to get vision up.
Yeah, yeah.
The fourth, this linear base is also a little bit harder to get creep spread around.
Oh, that is true.
Whereas I feel like the lower base you can get a lot more creep spread around and feel a lot less naked.
Hmm.
So Jimmy gets a Zergling, which is very slightly more than you're supposed to get with the Reaper, but um,
Supposed to or
ultimately,
expected? One of those.
yeah.
Yeah, now we do see Nigel coming in here with that over. Oh, just about to come
Nope.
in here with the Overlord.
Overlord put on the
Obviously.
brakes.
Yeah. Nigel does favor that. Oh, is that a second Reaper? No, that's.
No,
I
that
think
was still
that's the first one
the
that did.
first Reaper. Just made one last loop
Wow.
through the base, checking for a Roach Warren or something.
I am hallucinating today. Oh my god. But yeah, so Nigel favors that quick Overlord speed style. Now, Overlords function as the supply mechanic for Zerg, so they're unique because they're actually units. They are not buildings like pylons or supply depots. And you can actually use them to scout as Nigel is doing right now. So he is going to confirm that it is a 1-1-1 opener, just barely going to miss the third command center going down. But
Like
he
he might
sees,
see it
okay,
on his run out of the
oh,
space.
yep, there we go. Wait, did he? I
Yeah,
think he did. But yeah, of
just
course,
barely.
confirming there is a tank on the low ground, just some Marines, so pretty macro-oriented defensive play.
Yeah, so he knows the Liberator's coming out. Otherwise, there's not a significant immediate threat from the Terran. Um, Marines and the Overlord having a nice, polite stare down. Queens
Okay, so
are
this
mostly in
Liberator,
position to defend this Liberator, but it's gonna sneak on by and go straight to the
nope,
natural.
I guess so. Very nice, Queen already in position. Drones are pulled. Nice. So the unseat was actually forced immediately. Now this Liberator is going to circle back to the third, at which point Nigel is not aware of. So
Yeah, I
drone
think he's
is
aware of it, but a little bit APM text with this.
right.
That
Now,
turns.
actually, the Liberator did go down, so that is a bit of a, as the Zerg, whenever you get rid of harassing units, it's kind of like a green flag to spam a bunch of drones. So we did see for a moment there 12 drones started up by our red Zerg here.
Just gonna put him up to a decent worker count. I mean, Nigel's pretty good about not letting the Terran get to him and just kind of make drones throughout. Marine's gonna go down, but Marine does get the fourth base, I do believe.
Interestingly enough, Nigel's upgrades, or Red Zerg's upgrades, are not aligned. So we see that +1 melee is going to finish a much faster than +1. I'm sorry,
Other way
+1
around.
carapace, which is armor, is going to finish much quicker than +1 melee. So a little bit unusual, but no big deal in the long run.
Yeah, mostly his +1 melee is pretty well lined up with the Terran's attack upgrades, so should even out to a 1-1 versus 1-1 and 2-2 versus 2-2. And Nigel getting ready to go straight up to Hive as well with the Infestation Pit.
Yeah, I don't know about this sort of defensive playstyle from Jimmy. Now, he is going to go for... Oh, okay, I don't know. He does have the first two medevacs out. It looks like he will try to go for some sort of timing, but it's...
This is a very dangerous time for Nigel as he's investing in a macro hatch, just made a bunch of drones for his 4th base. He's got upgrades going for the Hydralisks, he's got Hive on the way, which cost him the Infestation Pit. Starting circling, or Baneling speed, +1 range. There's a lot of money in upgrades right now that Nigel's not yet benefiting from.
That's right. So that is the thing about upgrades. They are a long-term investment, probably the longest-term investment possible. So as we do see these 16 Marines and 2 medevacs coming in, just sort of shredding through, not really finding much resistance over here at the fourth. Now, a bunch of drones are going to get shredded, and that is significant economic damage.
4th base should go down. I think there's enough Hydras out to defend this, but definitely a lot of units lost there, a lot more drones than Nigel would have liked to have lost.
Yeah,
ultimately,
definitely.
I think that's a fairly even trade considering how much of an economic lead Nigel had going into it. But Jimmy not quite capitalizing as much as he potentially could have on that moment.
Yeah, nice little double drop, just sort of, trying to see what kind of damage it can get done. Not much, as actually the full medevac does get picked off by the Hydras, and a bit of a mistake from Nigel not setting these drones at his 4th to actually mine.
Nigel going for +2, +2, +1.
Nice, I like it.
Along with a Lurker Den and a Spire. And adrenal glands.
That is everything imaginable.
He's missing an ultimate scabbard.
It.
He's also only at 76 drones. I'd like to see that in the mid-80s if he's going to invest in this much tech and such and try to just Zerg his way out. I'd also like to see a little more creep spread on the left-hand side here.
Yeah, definitely. We do see that sort of suffering as these queens are a couple of the queens are caught a little bit out of position.
I don't know where these two ladies are going. Oh, they're
headed
up to the high ground. This is a cute little play.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so Jimmy is starting to sort of out-multitask his opponent just a little bit here as he does do multiple drops. Now, this drop is going to get picked off as well, so it does not pay for itself. Not really a good trade there, but we'll have to see some more critical engagements coming up in the future. So for now, just single and double drops, nothing too big. This one is going to pull the army just a little bit out of position, prompting Nigel to go all the way back up into his main.
Yeah, still no real commitment from the Terran to be out on the map. Medevac goes down, so not just gonna have a little more room to breathe finally and get things going. Planetary coming up on the 4th base for Jimmy. We're about to have 2-2-2 finish for Nigel, which is just great. You love to see it. Jimmy's gonna donate a siege tank. That's a gutsy play for sure.
I love it. 10 lurkers on the way. You know me, I do love them, spiky banelings, but I don't think they have upgrades yet, do they?
Not yet.
Yep, they do not. One just started.
Lurker
Now,
range. I don't remember what the name of that thing.
Seismic spines.
Seismic spines. That's the one.
I think that's one of them. Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, +2, +2, +2. So, for reference, Zerg upgrades work a little bit differently, or actually all races upgrades work a little bit differently. So for Zerg, you've got plus melee, you've also got plus ranged attack, and finally you have Carapace. And those are the three upgrades for your all of your ground armies. Carapace is the armor, and then the other two are attack upgrades, depending on the style that your army fights with. So this double drop is not going to get much done. Queens are on site to transfuse fairly in time. But yeah, Jimmy going for another double drop to the south, and
Yeah.
this one looks like it's gonna finally pick
Yep.
off the fourth. Very well played.
So yeah, upgrade wise, usually a Zerg you have to forfeit the attack on one of your units. Either you're playing mostly for the melee units or you're playing mostly for the ranged units. And Nigel deciding he would like upgrades, yes.
Yeah. Good response time by Nigel, making sure that the main drop is defended. At the cost, however, of the other double drop to the north. So we're seeing Nigel being a little bit taxed here and there, and Jimmy just being able to sit back and play I mean, I hate to say it, but a Maru sort of style, I want to say. Like just a lot of
Yeah.
drops and hanging around at home.
And kind of just
Going
trying
up to
to
the ghost.
max out, going up into
Yeah.
ghosts. I like it. Jimmy did forget his +3 armor. Either forgot it or couldn't afford it at the time and has since forgot it.
Jimmy got, I want to know, cloaked banshee, cloak for banshees. So I don't know what that
Did
was
he get
about.
cloaked
It
for
was,
banshees and not ghosts?
yeah, that it's okay. It was a mistake.
Where is the starport?
Oh, huge engagement. The Lings are trying to wrap into the bio. Lurkers are pushing forward, trying to see if they can siege on top of everything. Banelings are getting pretty significant amounts of damage, but that is not the engagement you want as the Zerg. Snipes are going off. All of the Lurkers are dead. No.
Wow.
Oh, I need to stop casting for a
Big,
that was so painful to watch. I'm
big
sorry. You're gonna have to do this
expensive
alone.
fight, and Jimmy comes out on top of that. Nigel attacking without adaptive talents there, the burrow speed for lurkers. Do you remember
Yeah, I
that
feel
one?
like that upgrade in that particular scenario would have been so crucial in just, taking care of everything. Now, this is a lot of Lings, and they are going to pick off a decent amount
Yeah,
of Ghost.
Jimmy pushing a little bit forward there. He doesn't have the same production as Zerg does, because that's
Right,
just how the
right.
races work. So while he traded out well there, he kind of misread that as an opportunity to go out on the map, and it's gonna cost him a
Yeah.
decent bit here at his third base. Oh, and Nigel with a caustic spray gonna take down this command center.
Oh, this is turning into a really interesting game number one. I mean, we've got Lings flying everywhere, Corruptors in the mix, and all of a sudden, what looked to be like a very bad trade by Nigel turned out kind of okay in a way. Like he's got the supply lead again. Bring those Lings from the other location though. Like you can't just fight with Hydras. Or can you? I don't know.
And these are 3-2 Hydras.
Yeah, like Nigel has definitely been on top of his upgrades, and that is definitely paying off here. Oh, lots of snipes going down, but these Lings are just gonna come through and shred everything as the Hydras come back to clean up whatever is left. And it
Yeah,
looks like
Jimmy's just
Jimmy is
not
on his
got the
last legs.
production that he needs to have here. Only
Yeah,
making
for
10
sure.
Marines and 1 Ghost at a time.
Oh man, GG is called. Nigel takes game number one.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty close game. Again, I think Jimmy was on pace to try to take that one, but got a little bit too anxious to get some damage done across the map after taking a good fight.
His shall we say aggressive side came out a little bit too quickly there, but yeah, no, definitely. That was well played by both of our players here. So going into game number two over on Jaganatha,
Jaganatha,
whatever. Jaganatha, there we go.
it's arguably the best map in the pool, just because you can pronounce it however you would like.
Yeah, that's right.
Nigel calling for a quick, precisely 20-second break here.
Not 19, not 20.01, but exactly 20.
Of course, I did not catch the exact moment he put that down, so I don't know what when to start the timer or when to end the timer here.
Yeah. Oh man, that was very interesting. So I have not seen Jimmy play that kind of style in well, I mean, I guess I have seen him play it. Like for example, when we played George Mason University and he was going up against Fullheart, who is, for reference, a Grandmaster Zerg. And he did play that sort of style where he turtled up and tried to get up to the spooky tech, aka those ghosts, aka the very loud snipey boys who, just sort of kill everything, but also kind of died relatively quickly in that last game. But yeah, that was interesting because back when I introduced Jimmy to StarCraft, he was a Marine salesman. Like that was all he would play, just Marine Bio Medevac or
I believe
Marine
it.
Marauder Medevac. And he would just push forward with those tanks and those widow mines. And that was it. That was it. And now he's doing the opposite. He's staying at home, macroing up to a solid 4 to 5 bases and getting ghosts. Which I don't know how to feel about it because it, of course, did not work out in that last game.
Yeah, I think it's important for Terrans to be a little bit more active in the matchup and not let Zerg just macro up like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Because
I
we
mean,
did the
Jimmy was going up to kind of the ultimate army to deal with that. And again, took a rather good trade there. That I think it was just a matter of being a little bit more patient on the remix.
yeah, definitely. All right, game number 2 here on Jaganatha LE. Spawning in the bottom left corner of the map as the Yellow Terran, playing for Team Yunhao. It is sweet.
And in the top right of Jaganatha, we have the Red Zerg playing for SC Swarm. Nigel. Of course, Jaganatha, a very, very long map. For the most part, we were kind of discussing this. That Nigel said he's not a huge fan of this map, as it's just a little bit weird for as mostly standard as it is.
Hmm. Interesting. Possibly because of the speedy zones in the middle of the map.
Speedy zones make it weird for as large of a map as it is. There's not that many bases. It's pretty easy to find yourself in a split map scenario on this map.
Yeah.
There's this large dead space going into the natural that I've certainly died to many a Terran yellowing their whole army into my main base. And these like weird corner bases that are super well protected but feel really weird to take.
Alright, nothing out of the ordinary just yet. We do see that standard Reaper expand opening from Jimmy, as well as I believe that was a hatch first from Nigel.
Yeah, fairly normal opening from Nigel over here. Everything looking pretty standard from Sweet as well. Making a Marine straight after the Reaper is a little bit weird. Ultimately, doesn't matter that much, but gonna delay his reactor just a touch.
Right.
And if Nigel's not careful, he might custom the
Well, he
Overlord
could
here.
lose the Overlord. Yeah. Immediately goes for the pillar, though. I think it's going to get there on time.
Yeah, it should be fine, but it'll be a little bit bruised. Jimmy seems like the kind of Terran that would lift a barracks to go kill this.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But gonna get the reactor instead. Although I guess due to the timing here, he does have a window he could play the factory over for a little bit if he really wanted to.
Now, I don't recall how Nigel played in the previous series, but it looks like he in this game, he's going for the very quick Overlord speed, just, to give himself more scouting potential. But it actually went down before the third base, and that third base is actually blocked by an engineering bay, which, honestly, I don't like that at all for the Terran, because it's just kind of a waste of money.
Yeah, yeah, ultimately, I mean, it doesn't waste that much money, but certainly an investment that, and doesn't really slow down the space all that much. If he had started that a little bit sooner, if that was a nearly full health energy bay, or engineering bay, that's what they call them, would have been a much different story, but still then Nigel just takes the other base, and I don't think it's all that impactful. Nigel again with that Overlord speed is gonna see this 1-1-1 opening. 2 Hellions move out across the map. Jimmy gonna try to deny some creep spread here.
Oh, those Lings need to be careful. I mean, a bunch of them did get picked off. Nice front wall. I do like that with the 1 Evo. 2 Queens and, of course, the Bane Nest. So making sure that those Hellions can't just, rush their way into the natural and potentially do some critical damage.
Okay, so you gotta see Jimmy followed this up with 2 extra Hellions. He's gonna have the 4 Hellions and a Reaper, and then a Liberator on the other side. Nigel mostly knows how this is coming. Best way I feel to deal with this is to just be set up with it beforehand rather than trying to micro against all of this. Which Nigel's not quite ready for. So we're gonna see this Liberator get, what, 4 SCVs? 5? 6?
Oh,
7?
wow.
Yeah, that
That
Liberator can
was...
come home, call that a job well done.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Okay, and now these Hellions are going to continue getting their damage in, making that creep spread a lot more difficult for the Zerg. And actually, that Hellion and the Reaper are going to survive that encounter. And of course, Reapers are able to heal up very quickly, kind of like Mutalisks, and I'm sure there are other units that can heal that. Actually, I'm not too sure. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, pretty much Mutalisks, and Protoss units standing next to a shield battery.
Yeah, that's right.
That said, Jimmy's gonna go poke the hive just a little bit more, one last time, and it's gonna cost him these units. Eventually. Oh, this Reaper making a run for its life.
Yeah. Why can't it fly, That jetpack looks so intimidating. Might as well.
Thank you, Blizzard, for not letting them fly. Don't listen to this guy.
Yeah, don't. I'm sorry. I have the worst ideas for absolutely no reason.
So we see Nigel going up to 6 gases. And 6 gases and a Hydrogen. Interesting. I think usually you want to stay on 5 gases. If you're playing Hydras until you hit 4 bases. Which 4th base goes down now, so we're not too far off of that, and we're not actually binding gas in our main yet.
I really like how crisp Jimmy's build is. So he's got combat shield, +1/+1 finishing all at about the same time. I believe he already has stim. It's pretty nice. So
Certainly move out here. That's not gonna do a whole lot.
yeah, not really advisable. Banelings are being morphed, but Baneling's speed is not done. So Nigel is getting a little bit aggressive here, and I'm not sure if he has the numbers to really follow through with it.
Yeah, this is kind of an investment that means he's gonna have that much less units later on, and this really shouldn't get much done. Although if Jimmy picks up every Marine that he owns and flies across the map, opens up a lot more possibility for this to get damage done.
Oh, that is a very dead Zergling. Siege Tank did not hesitate.
Siege Tank is... that Zergling is no more. Otherwise, Nigel taking a 5th base. He's not really droned up his 4th yet. I think Nigel got a
Oh,
little bit lost in this game as to where he was with all the early
yeah.
micro. So we see him just now getting to the drone count that he'd really like to have. Not yet
Yep.
getting to Hive Tech. Not really got his upgrades flowing like he'd like to.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a contrast from the last game, in my opinion. It's not going to be able to deal with this triple drop over at his freshly completed fifth base. So, oh, this is, I don't know about that. I
That
mean,
was
I'm pretty sure Jimmy could have fought that, but that will actually cost him a medevac full of units. So,
Yeah, that
oof.
was a very costly maneuver there. I think he didn't expect to be able to focus down that baneling like he did.
And look at that
And
double drop over in the main, actually able
gets.
to pick off the macro hatchery.
I'd like to see him drop here the natural, yeah. But Nigel also kind of acknowledges that as a possibility. Cleans it up fairly well.
Yeah, so far, if we look at the resources lost, Terran actually has lost more than the Zerg, which is definitely not how you want to trade against the Zerg. In this
Yeah,
matchup, the Terran always has to trade much more efficiently than the Zerg. And that is not the case here, as another drop does get killed off. Nigel really setting up his defenses here in the main, putting down spore crawlers, keeping a bunch of hydras on the high ground.
yeah, Nigel
Oh,
would
but
very
Jimmy
much
is
like
looking
to
for a move out.
stop having to multitask as much as he's had to this game, so.
Yeah.
That
This is a
said,
2-2 timing.
yeah,
This is a very
2-2
scary timing.
against, I mean, 1-1 with +2 melee a long ways out and +2 carapace not started yet. This has a lot of potential to get
Yeah,
a
and
good
keep
amount
in
of
mind,
damage.
that is mostly Hydras, which do not trade the best against Bio.
And they don't
So I'm
have
not... Oh,
range
wait
yet
a
either.
second.
Although stepping a little bit forward on creep here and away from the siege tanks.
Oh, wow. Somehow Nigel got a pretty favorable engagement there. He's going straight ahead for this Bio, able to clean up all of it as the tanks are nowhere to be seen, unable to support the Bio on the ground. So all of it will get picked off. Very awkward engagement. I don't think Jimmy was looking for that.
Yeah, again, Jimmy's aggression kind of biting him there. Trying to rush forward, get a good spot a little bit too eagerly. Whereas if he sat back with the siege tanks there, I think he potentially made a game-winning play there.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Because, when you look at that massive bio, 2-2 bio against 1-1 Hydra mainly, like, yeah, you expect to be able to push through that as long as you engage on top of the tanks and you engage, in areas where you're able to sort of force the Zerg into awkward engagements. But no, he ran forward, tried to gun down the fourth, and all of a sudden, that massive Hydra just coming in from the side forced him away from the tanks and he was unable to defend.
And another siege tank kind of gets abandoned on the front lines here. Might end up getting a nice pot shot or two, but for the most part, that siege tank should just be a donation. I'd like to see Jimmy bump up another 3 or 4 racks, probably around his extra bases, make some better Sim City to defend around, and
Oh,
he just needs more production right now. We see Jimmy floating quite a bit of minerals and not really able to spend them yet. And Jimmy pushing
yeah,
himself
now...
a little bit more multi-pronged than I think he's capable of, which I've been suggesting to him to do, as that's kind of how you get better at this sort of play.
Right, right.
But we see him slipping up and losing a couple units where he's not supposed to. And Nigel's a big push in here on third base.
Oh, wow.
And
Look
misclick
at that.
there as Jimmy focuses down his own siege tank, I think.
Well, in any case, a full mineral line and an orbital has gone down, so GG is called. Nigel takes game number 2.
Yeah, another fairly close game of Jimmy kind of kind of doing his own damage to himself there. And
Yeah,
Nigel
definitely.
doing a good job of taking advantage of it, but um, ultimately, I think Jimmy needs to kind of take a minute to breathe in some of these games and max out, get his big Terran army.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. So we saw him getting a little bit too trigger happy in some places, whether it be, trying to handle multiple harass, which of course taxes both players. It taxes the person initiating and the person defending. But in the end, it just wasn't enough against Nigel's defense and against Nigel's eventual push. Just, a bunch of Ling Hydra, it looked like. So, all right. So we're going to head over into game number 3 on 2000 atmospheres. This is match point, right?
Yeah.
For Nigel. Yeah. All right, here we go. Match point. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map as the red Zerg player, up 2-0 in the series so far, playing for the team SC Swarm. It is Nigel.
And in the top right, playing as the Yellow Terran for Team Yunhao, our local UCSD player. We have Sweet. So I'm curious to see. I don't expect Sweet to pull out anything too obnoxious here. As we've discussed, he's not fully aware of what cheese is in the game. Nigel definitely has the freedom to kind of try some things here, though, and that's exactly what we see with this gas first build. I'm curious if this will be the same build that we saw in Game 1 versus Void, or if he's going to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, this is a very interesting opener. It does open up a lot of, aggressive options, as well as, of course, the option to just, not care and still macro up despite taking that first hatch a little bit late. Now, for Jimmy, since he needs to essentially reverse sweep, otherwise he loses this series, this best of 5 series, honestly, what's going on for him right now is not working, right? We're seeing the multi-prong drops, which oftentimes are not actually multi-prong. Usually it's just like a single or a double drop here, and then 2 minutes later, another double drop in another location. But very rarely are we seeing them come out at the same time. And it's overall just not aggressive enough, I feel. I think that he had some success punishing Nigel for droning up in around the 7 minute mark. I would love to see maybe a quicker 1-1 timing push, maybe a quick 2 base 5 racks. That way you could catch the Zerg. Assuming Nigel macros up as hard as he has been, then you could potentially catch Nigel off guard by, going for something a bit more aggressive. But we have not seen that so far in his gameplay. So, Taylor, when you mentioned earlier that Jimmy's playstyle has changed, I definitely see what you mean now, because he used to be so aggressive when he played against me. It was painful to play against him, but now it's a lot more chill, I would have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of been our thing we've been working on in 2v2s, of just kind of letting our opponents do what they want to do while we get up to a better composition and try to win the game. That said, some interesting, hard to call it anything but shenanigans in this game of Jimmy properly identifying the pool first type of build and keeping the Reaper at home, but that means the Reaper's also not spotted these roaches and ravagers and circlings moving across the map.
Yeah, at the very least, you want to see a bunker, that kind of thing. Oh, this Reaper
We see
is...
a very
Oh,
fast
oh.
stim here, which means we're kind of down on marine production.
Yeah, no, we're very down. I mean, all that's left are 3 SUVs, a couple of mules that obviously don't do damage, and a couple of Hellions now on the high ground. So
Close the
this
door.
is... Oh, you gotta raise the... Nope, those Lings are gonna get in. This is a very vulnerable, position for our yellow Terran. This is not looking good, and GG is actually called. Nigel takes the series 3-0 against Sweet.
All right, Nigel with a little bit of the cheeky roach play pulls out game three, and off we
Wow.
go to the finals.
Yeah, how do you feel about taking maybe a 2-minute break, Taylor, and then we could, I don't know, run an ad or something like that before we get into
I
the
think
last
that
district?
would be perfectly reasonable. I am kind of fresh out of ads, but I think a little 2 minute ish break would be good for me to refresh water and such.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I will tune us over to the Be Right Back screen, and we shall see you guys in just a few. And we're back.
Very exciting finals that we have lined up for this tournament tonight.
Yeah, nice little rematch here between Nigel and Void. We'll see if we get some cattle bruisers and some roaches and some queens and overlords. Should be some
You're
good
forgetting the most
old-fashioned North American
important unit.
StarCraft.
That's right. We need those Vipers and effect. Well, mm, I don't know if the game is gonna go long enough for spellcasters.
I have not gotten the impression from either of these players that they intend to make spellcasters.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I know Nigel's not afraid to make Vipers, but I don't think he does so willingly.
All right, so we're gonna get Veto started for you guys, and then we're gonna head into game number one real soon.
Yes, another big shout out to all our sponsors here at the Triton Gaming Expo. Again, most especially Corsair for sponsoring the tournament. Exclamation mark Corsair in the chat for the information on the giveaway.
Okay. Nice thing about a best of five is you only have two vetoes to get through.
Yeah, the process is nice and quick.
Yep. Okay, so oh, a little bit of backtracking here in the chat, which I don't think is open to the stream, so I sound like I'm just laughing at myself.
Yeah, it's good to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. Healthy, right?
Yeah. Okay, I hope you're following what's going on with the vetoes, because I am certainly not.
Yeah, no, we're good. Only one veto each, and then hopefully we can, yep, get into the maps real soon.
So, I mean, looking like we have some combination of Romanticide, Jagannatha, and Blackburn band. Pick
Yeah,
two.
we'll play the first 5 minutes of a game on Jagannatha, and then the remaining time on Romanticide.
There we go. That's what we need in StarCraft. Resume from replay on a different map.
Yeah, exactly. All of the atmospheres, 2,000 of them. That is
I
a
don't
good
think
choice.
that's all of them, though.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, wait a second. Yeah, super exciting to see these two players coming in from outside of UCSD. So Nigel coming in from UC Davis, and then Nate the Great, aka Void, representing the Jigglypuff clan. He plays on the UCI team because he's enrolled part-time at UCI, but I think he is a UC Santa Barbara student. So UC representation here.
Yeah. Yeah, we got almost the whole collection.
That's right. Almost. Almost.
When do we get UC trading cards going?
UC trading cards. I love that. Yeah.
Of course, no UC Chicago tonight. Just always unfortunate.
Yep. Very nice to see them win the last CEA season, though. So, you know, putting our name up there with them, of course, since we beat them in the final.
Of course, it is an honor for them to have their name placed next to UCSD.
Now, Void, since he is a Grandmaster Protoss, we have asked him to kindly off race for this tournament, and he will. It looks like he will be playing Terran for this first matchup. Oh, Nigel might switch to. I'm gonna eat my words in a minute. Yeah, we're gonna get Terran versus Terran in a little bit. It looks like.
And a Terran versus Terran between these two would be great.
As we did see earlier in the stream tonight, I think it was Matt versus Jimmy in the losers semifinal. So Jimmy sort of showing a different side of his style, whereas against Zerg, he does favor going all the way up to that late game.
Yeah. But another good old CVT here.
I love it. My favorite matchup. The favorite matchup of many, many StarCraft fans. So, all right. Game number 1 here on 2000 Atmospheres LE. Spawning in the bottom left corner of the map, playing for the clan SC Swarm. It is Nigel.
And in the top right, as a Red Terran, playing for Team Jiggly, we have Void. Some very dramatic StarCraft music coming in here.
It's always so funny because I've noticed with watching GSL and other casts, the more dramatic the music, the more, I don't want to say boring, but slower paced the actual gameplay is. So for example, right now, right, there's really nothing to watch except like, oh look, a hatchery just went down. Oh look, a barracks is building. But
Meanwhile,
then you
we've
get
got this
these
whole
big
orchestra
orchestral
going on.
swells. Exactly, yep. It's like this barracks is gonna save the entire Terran race. Like,
Yeah.
like these very, very possible scenarios. Completely possible.
Alright, otherwise, no barracks on the map yet. Um, Game kind of remains at this nice and somewhat standard, slow pace to start things off. I apparently may or may not have to sneeze, so
Just
if I
don't sneeze.
if I suddenly cut off, that's why. I thought I
Nah,
was going
man.
to sneeze, and then I didn't. So.
Oh, is it like the painful kind where it's like, oh, I really wanted to sneeze, but now I'm not going to?
Yeah, like I had all the build up and nothing.
Ugh. No, no,
Alright, I
no.
like this move from Nigel, hiding the drone by the third base.
This is interesting. So the SCV actually going in with the Reaper just for a second, just to, dip its feet in the creep for a second. But yeah, like you said, a very sneaky drone able to put up that third while the Reaper and the SCV were preoccupied.
Nigel gonna put down a nice conservative creep tumor here.
At the same time, Void putting
Ooh.
down a pretty aggressive bunker, which I do kind of like. Very cheeky.
Almost lost the Reaper in the meantime, though.
Yeah.
Nigel missed the surround a little bit there. Of course, Reapers are notoriously greased up.
Yeah.
Hard to hold down.
So this is very interesting so far because Nigel went for a much quicker third than he usually does. Now maybe I'm overthinking it, and
It's
the
a much
third is
quicker
not
third
as
than he
telling.
usually is allowed to take.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, the Reaper in the bunker is in range here.
Yeah, I was about to question that. I was like, I don't think that's in range, but hey, I guess it is.
Nigel not totally sure how to react to this, as ultimately it's not a terribly threatening maneuver, but it certainly looks intimidating.
Yeah, I always underestimate bunkers, and it's like, wait, they can be repaired. Wait, their DPS is consistent. Like, I'm not gonna be able to fight this.
We see Void with two fast Marauders, but he's not getting concussive shell.
Interesting. I think he's just defaulting to making, like when you have tech labs and you're like, what do I make? I can't make a Marine out of a tech lab barracks. I need to make Marauders.
That would be absurd.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, what
Oof.
is gonna be absurd is the amount of drone. Oh, and they actually surround the
Citizens
Hellions.
arrest.
Wait a second. That was arguably better than if they were pulled away. No, okay,
that one
7
last.
drones did go down. Yeah,
That's
that one last roast. Oh.
yeah, Nigel kind of got caught in that. There's kind of this muscle memory you train yourself as a Zerg of I don't understand what's happening, so you make drones. Um,
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep.
and got a little bit caught doing that and not having the standard units that he should have for dealing with the Hellions, but
Right, right.
also a case of he had enough drones that he could afford to lose some drones.
That is true. Yeah. He
Yes.
obviously has gotten back in the lead with the drone count as
See him
expected.
at full 3 base mineral saturation on this. So he's
Mm.
gonna need to put down a 4th base or a macro hatch pretty soon if he doesn't want to just start floating money.
Yeah, now this is a bit of
Hellions are going for it
an
again.
uncharacteristic move. Yeah. So the Hellions coming in, I was just about to say that Evo Chamber and the Baneling Nest are not at the front, not able to buffer against these Hellions. Another 6 drones go down. Wow. That actually evens up the worker count. That is not good for Zerg.
Yeah. That said, we don't see a 3rd base on the way for Floyd, although he's just continued making SCVs, so he's actually just oversaturated now.
Mhm.
Just now throwing down the armory, so this is kind of your somewhat normal Marauder Hellbat push, but with twice as many Marauders as usually come with this, and about a minute and a half later than it's would normally hit. Oh, are you there? Unfortunately, we might have lost Cameron for a minute here. Hopefully he comes back. Move us over to this. So a little bit of technical difficulties here. See, hopefully Cameron comes back. So we'll give Cameron another minute or two. I don't want to hold things off for too long, but hopefully he comes back. Oh, are we back? Well, we seem to have the connection back. Let's see if we can get the voice back from a T-Dragon. Alright, well, I will be all alone on the cast for now.
Oh, wait. Am I
Oh,
back?
you're back! He's
Wow.
alive!
I guess I am.
Welcome back to the land of the living. We missed you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I miss you guys too. I have Spectrum, so hopefully
Ah.
that's enough explanation.
I haven't had any issues with it yet, but
Lucky
you
you.
know, ISPs, it's only a matter of time. Anyways, I think
So,
Bailey
we're still in the
Buzz.
same game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These queens are not going to have a buffer. Oh, that's actually pretty painful. So, first wave of banelings was not enough, but
Second wave of
that looked like it was enough.
banelings. That'll be enough, and Nigel holds.
Yeah. Right when +1/+1 bio finishes, so a bit of an anti-timing there. Or not anti-timing, but just, a bit too early to hit with the +1/+1.
Yeah, Nigel correctly, as soon as he defends that, queues up 10 more drones. He definitely needs a fourth base, probably, and a macro hatch at this point.
Yeah. Seems like that would be the right call.
Getting +1 melee. Currently he has +1 carapace, which definitely helped him against that attack. And starts up to +2 carapace. And he gets the macro hatch going. So he just needs a little bit of time at this point to kind of recollect himself and start spending the money. We see Void already with a pretty sizable army out here and 2-2 on the way. For as committed as that was, he was kind of pretty immediately ready for the next stage.
Yeah, this is the mark of a good macro player, right? It's like no matter what happens on the other side of the map, you're still macroing at home. You're still comfortably building up your own unit count and all that. So
And
this is going to
Nigel
be a bit
just
scary.
now realizes he doesn't have Baneling speed yet.
Yeah, that was... Oof. Now these Lings are going to come over and kind of try to shred through the Marauders. Not quite able to do so. These Queens are coming forward as well to help buffer. But yeah, it looks like for now they will be able to pick off this bio
Void
force,
with
but...
a little bit of a struggle there trying to pick up his units.
Yeah.
As not a Terran main, that is a little bit of a maneuver that's kind of tricky to pull off and make it look smooth.
Right, and now these queens are actually caught out of position off creep. Not a good spot. Uh-oh. Good micro on the Marines, making sure that they're running away and behind the Marauders. So this is where it gets dicey for the Zerg, right? It's like constant waves, wave after wave of bio, and if you don't handle each wave correctly, it could quickly snowball in favor of the Terran, as it looks like it will be the case here.
Yeah, Nigel's production just now kicking in, but he's already lost a lot. Looks like he's gonna finally make this push go back home.
Okay, so for that entire fight, centrifugal hooks, excuse me, aka Baneling Speed, was started and finished. So that
Yes.
was quite a slugfest. Yeah.
That said, everything at the end of that, where Nigel's not in a bad spot. He's behind on upgrades, which is definitely a concern. But
Yeah,
he's up
and
to 74 workers, so he doesn't really need to make workers anymore. He kind of spent the rest of his income on just units and upgrades and trying to catch up in everything he's currently behind on.
yeah, that's right. I think he's sort of overestimating how many workers Void actually has, because Void is not even up to the 60 worker count. So it looks like another re-engagement. This Bane, the Baneling count is not really enough to break through the main Bioforce, and now the Hydras are left all alone. Queen's also coming through, a couple of spines here to help anchor, but I don't know about this. This is a really scary Bioforce.
Yeah, took that engagement a little bit too optimistically and not getting the Banelings on the Marines.
That was pretty crazy, I have to say, because that game ended when Nigel was still above Void in supply. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a game where it's easy to feel like you just got outmatched. But I'm curious to hear how Nigel feels about that, as that was a lot closer than it might have felt.
Right, right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get game 2 loaded up for us real soon.
So I believe we're Light Shade next.
Yep, that's right. All right, I will be right back.
Alright, give us just a minute to set up the maps here as we go through some power dynamics within the party. But I think we got everything set up now.
Yep, here
Welcome
we go.
back.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Looks like the players are ready. Here we go into game number 2.
Alright, you're number 2 on Light Shade, so another pretty balanced map for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. Some pretty wide open spaces. You've got your choke points as well. I'm pretty sure everybody's happy, really.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've talked to, at least.
I mean, unless you're playing against Protoss.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Game number 2 here on Lightshade LE. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, playing as the Red Terran. For the clan Jigglypuff, it is Void.
And in the bottom right, playing as Blue Zerg. For SC Swarm, we have Nigel. And immediately we have a little bit of spice coming out of this game.
Oh, man. This is the second most aggressive build that Terran can do, I believe, right? Isn't 4x... Like, 4x is a thing, right? Unless I'm talking out of my butt.
Yeah, four racks is a lot. I think usually 3 racks is as many as you make. It's usually between the 2 racks and the 3 racks.
Oh man, and immediately we're gonna see 3 racks being started for Void, and at the same time, Nigel went for a hatch first. I feel like if he had played safer, you know, opened with that gas into pool into hatch, he would have been in a much better position to defend against this. But unless he scouts it, it's gonna hit him pretty
second
hard.
Overlord is on the way to scout it. There's some danger here of it scouting it too late, and this Overlord getting caught by the Marines in production.
Right. So the first barracks does finish. First Marine is on the production tab. Does Nigel see it? It's in his vision, but does he see it? Does he process it? I don't think he's processing it.
Just now
Okay,
looks at
now
it.
he sees it. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the response for our Blue Zerg? I believe the proper response here is to pull workers in, you know, no matter how many proxy racks it is, right?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to do this. You can pull the workers immediately and just try to fight this and shove it back to the barracks. Give you time to get the Zerglings out. The other option is getting up this massive amount of spine crawlers. And
which is his chosen method.
Yeah. And as soon as it's finished, you go down there and you try to break this bunker.
I see.
Since it's a 3 racks, I think you can afford to give up this natural if you don't fight for it that much. But
yeah,
Nigel electing to mine all the way up to Zergling speed and making 3 spine crawlers, I think he needs to defend the space.
Yeah, that is true. The hatchery about halfway down on health. The spines are finished, and they are going to crawl very, very slowly down the ramp onto the low ground creep. So
yeah, I don't know if this is in time.
Yeah, because spines do actually take some amount of time to kill. These Marines are going to gun straight for the natural, and that was, yeah, kind of unfortunate.
So all things said and done, the game's still in a very weird state here, as Nigel's...
Oh, definitely.
We're on even worker count. Terran does have mules, so Terran should have a better economy at this point. But it's not by a lot.
Yeah, especially this early, right? Only 1 mule at a time.
And we're gonna see no units in production for a long time from Void, as we have no factory on the way yet. Barracks are all flying across the map.
Oh, and that is gonna hurt.
Speed.
We do have Ling speed, so those Lings are gonna run across the map, but that is a lot of Marines, and a bunker has just finished, so... Oh, yeah, there we go.
Bunker being ready
4 bunkers do enter.
Rough. There's a potential to just run on through. And Void doesn't get the wall
getting
off.
A good surround. Yeah. Wait,
so we could see a lot of SCVs go down, and I think this will probably end up just evening out, more or less.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Nigel try to cancel this natural. Or at least delay the command center.
It's like you said earlier, the... Excuse me. Oh, Okay, so we do see 7 SCVs going down. Yeah, it's like you said earlier, just sort of evening up. But that was interesting. A very weird game, a very weird opening. So,
Yeah. I think the big problem we're going to see from Void here is without a factory on the way, he's going to be just very far behind in terms of tech.
yeah, definitely. Especially seeing that Nigel is almost done with his Roach Warren. So he is looking to get a little bit more aggressive here in the early stages of the game, which I think is a very good move. I think, you've got your 2 gases up. You finally are taking your natural after those early game shenanigans, and
And
yeah,
Void,
looking to lay on some pressure.
the Marine salesman.
Yep. Which, to be fair, Marines are great, and even against roaches, they're pretty good, but not in this stage of the game. In this stage of the game, early roaches can easily, very easily catch an unsuspecting Terran off guard.
Yeah. I don't really know how this is going to play out. This sort of low tech versus low tech is not a situation you see very often, so this fight's going to be interesting, but I think Nigel's well set up to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, definitely, since he also has those 3 Ravagers already out on the field, supported by some Lings, some Roaches.
Void
Actually, a
going
lot more Lings coming up.
for combat shields first rather than stim, which means this upgrade actually has a chance of finishing before this attack's over.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
I'm not totally sure how that plays out, but I mean, I think it's actually a better situation that that's what he decided to
Oh.
go for. Bunker goes down
Immediately, basically,
immediately.
yeah. Only 1 Ravager has lost its life so far. The second Ravager... Oh, that Bile. I don't know about that Bile. I think that those sets of Bile should have gone down on the main army. But it will get the Tech Lab down
Are
to
we
burning
good?
health, which means... Oh, is it going to
But
get...
because it nope, it doesn't
No
finish.
way!
Alright.
No way! That was crazy. Combat Shield was denied by burning down. You rarely see that.
Wow.
Yeah, very well played by
And
Nigel. Looks
I
like the wall is not up on the high ground. Lings are going to flood on through. These 2 Ravagers are going to, start dealing their DPS behind the Lings.
and I think this is gonna be game. I don't see a world where Voids manages to clear this up.
Yeah, definitely. I think this sort of, what is this, Marine heavy opener did not really favor him in this very interesting interaction, as GG is called. Nigel takes game number 2.
Very, very non-standard game right there.
Yeah, I love to see it. That was a real treat to watch.
Some good old North American StarCraft right there.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have it
very, very
any
well
other
played.
way.
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like Nigel is stepping away for just a second. I will also step away for just 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, sounds good. Overall, a very well-played interaction by Nigel, I think. The choice to follow
Alright.
up with Roaches and Ravagers, hey, was pretty smart in my opinion. You know that both of you guys are sort of limping in terms of economy, right? Neither player really has an advantage. Both players are severely depleted the compared to a standard sort of game, and just being able to catch Void off guard with that group of Ravagers and Roaches, even denying that combat shield was pretty crazy. So
Yeah, I mean it was kind of an interesting situation there. Do you try to drone up and power through it, or do you go for the kill like that? And I think Nigel identifying the Void elected not to tech up, which meant that just a little bit of tech from Nigel really gave him a lot of power.
yeah, definitely, we saw that Nigel's excellent game sense was coming into play. I think that in my opinion, the UC Davis Zergs have, including you, of course, being a UC Davis alum, you guys have pretty good game sense, and I need to learn from that. Anyways, game number 2. This is Oxide. Yeah, this is Oxide. Spawning in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Zerg this time around. For the clan SC Swarm, it is Nigel.
And top right, The Red Terran once again sending SCVs across the map immediately. We have Void.
Oh man.
And Void's just gonna roll it back.
Oh no. I don't know about this. Let me tell you, I really don't know about this, you know? Because, and I quote, gas pool hatch. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea how this is gonna work out. Like, it is totally possible that the Marines are still not scouted. Like the Overlord will scout it though. And if Nigel pays attention quick enough, he might actually be able to pull drones as well, just to shut this down real quick. But anyways, I was going to say that if this went unscouted, there is a chance that a big ball of Marines just sort of overpower whatever lings are produced. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Nigel, now he's seen it, he knows what's up, so he's going to be in a much better position to defend. Now he only scouted 2 of the 3 racks. It's not really a big distinction at levels that are not professional, I would say, but or at
Yeah,
least to me, I don't
I
know.
personally do not have a refined response of the 2 racks versus 3 racks.
Yeah.
It's just making stuff.
Oh, now these
We
4 lings
see
are gonna. Okay, good.
this
Immediately
is
pull back.
another
I'm biased.
situation where it's hard to make a call here because this is not a situation that you find yourself in often.
Yeah, definitely. Now we do see 6 lings on the field, a couple more being produced, and the drones are pulled as well. I do like this move. Yeah, okay, I like this. Pouncing right on top of
I'd
everything,
like to see
although...
him kill this
Oh,
SCV building the bunker. A little bit of missed micro there on the front lines too, and this is
yeah, this
most of the
is...
workers. We do have a queen up, but I think this bunker is gonna go down, and I think that's gonna be a little bit too much. Yeah.
Taylor, we need to switch over to the game screen.
Oh,
Pretty unfortunate. That's okay.
oops. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Got too mixed up in all the different switches and everything.
It happens.
It was a short game.
Thankfully, that was the quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case
Don't
you
worry,
guys
guys.
didn't catch it. Void
All you
Bane.
need to know is that Terran Imba, and they got
Yeah.
1 free game. Yep.
Terran mid Rex, this time it worked.
Yeah, basically. All right, so we're gonna go into the next game over on Jagannatha, game number 4. So we are getting there. We are almost done with this series. Exciting stuff. Okay, here we go.
Alright, I'll remember this time.
Silver Chloride saying this is like baseball before 1970s. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I'd say. It is exactly the same. Yep. All right, so this is something that I wanted to try out for this tournament. I decided to allow race switching, which we have not done in the past. So, instead of a ZVT, we have ourselves a ZVZ here, a mirror matchup, Zerg versus Zerg, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map as the red Zerg instead of Terran now, playing for Jiggly. It is Void.
And in the top right, as a blue Zerg, for SC Swarm, we have Nigel. No 12 pools here. Nothing serious shenanigans quite yet.
Yep, both of them going up to 16, and then I assume putting down a hatch eventually. Void is a little bit... Oh, no. They got it right on time, so... It will be a hatch first from both players. Which, like, immediately rules out a lot of aggression that is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, the next stage we'll see is as Zergling speed finishes up, whether somebody tries to go for something obnoxious or not. See if somebody holds down the Z key until they win the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't. Nigel has a rather interesting ZVZ build that I know he likes to use.
I know the one you're talking about. We'll have to wait and see if that is what he decides to go with. But yeah, so I don't know about you, Taylor, but in my Zerg versus Zerg games, I found that my typical strategy of like trying to default drone and then make units if I need to, I find that it works better in the mirror matchup if I switch the default. So I default make units and I make drones if I can. And obviously that is a much more aggressive and not typically what you see against Protoss and Terran because of just how the matchups work. But it seems to be working against Zerg. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely training me to think about the game in other ways.
Yeah, CVC has some weirdness as you're very much limited by the larva mechanic and mostly
Yeah.
by the injects. So you
Oh,
kind of
definitely.
only get to make decisions on units or drones about 30 seconds at a time,
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
which is enough time for Zerglings to run across the map and get damage done. So if you make one decision and your opponent makes a different decision, you can pretty much immediately be punished for that.
Oh
We
my
see
god.
Nigel.
Nigel, what is I was gonna
Oh,
say, yeah, go for that roach build, but no, he's going for a full wall off.
this seems a
Which
little bit
hmm,
excessive for just the 6 Zerglings coming across the
yeah,
map here.
yeah. Like, first off, you have the full okay, so he cancels the Evo that would complete the wall and plugs it with the queens instead. I do like that. The spine, though, is still a little bit extra, and obviously all of the producing and subsequent canceling is going to cost Nigel just a little bit of resources, but he does start the layer, so it looks like he will indeed be going for that. I believe it's a +1 roach timing.
Yeah, we see him down 7 workers is a big problem with all of this. Down to 5, I'm gonna catch up now, but um, lost a lot of workers between making all the buildings, as that does consume workers, and then each of these buildings also cost about as much resources as another drone, or more.
Yeah. I love it. Nigel with that instinct to just like, oh, never mind. Okay, it was a misrally on the drones. I was gonna say, okay, he saw the ling, so he immediately pulled a drone behind the plug queen. That way he could make an Evo right in the nick of time if he needed to. But that was not the case, so ignore me.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if here Nigel was just really expecting Void to do a just heavy Ling Flood or some sort of maybe a 14, 13, 12 sort of build.
Yeah, yeah, which at that
As
time would have already been too late.
yeah, and
Now,
which
this
he'd
is
already scouted
interesting.
it wasn't, but I kind of understand as Void is a little bit of a cheesy player.
Just a little bit. Yeah. For those who don't know, I've already outed, Dr. Edition, I've outed Nigel, I've outed everybody but Void, I think. So, just for reference, he is a North American Grandmaster Protoss, and I believe he's infamous, famous, whatever, for his cannon rushes. So, that is his reputation, I believe. Now, a little bit of drone miss micro, like, just sort of trying to fix the saturation here and there, but we do see the roach production starting. Actually, we do see drone production starting for Nigel. At the same time, though, we do see +1 melee, +1 carapace coming up for Void. I don't like this simply because, I mean, he's already scouted the Roach Warren, he's already scouted the wall at the natural. Like, this is already pretty
And
much.
he's not investing in Aspire either. He's
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
just hoping to win with Zerglings, which, I mean, the +2, +1 roaches are going to fare very well against this. That said, this is not enough roaches yet.
Yeah,
Nigel
definitely.
needs to be
Oh,
careful.
and they're immediately gonna surround the queen. A bit of miss micro. Oh, okay, they are gonna get the queen. Now, those lings are gonna be a nuisance here because what you do have with these lings against roaches is map control, of course, and you're able to deny things such as a third for, an extended period of time. But looks like Void has had his fun and he's just gonna head home and macro up a little bit. Now, it looks like he's going immediately for Hive Tech. I feel like this is quick ultras, which, like,
That's the
okay.
only thing I think makes any sense. I feel like this shouldn't work. That Nigel should,
Yeah, yeah.
when +2 attack ranged finishes, um, Nigel should be moving across the map and promptly win the game, I would
Oh,
think.
but
Said he's
these
gonna
roaches are
lose these
caught a little bit out
roaches.
of position. They are still doing relatively well. Of course, they do trade better than the Lings will ever
These
trade, but
extra roaches definitely needed to fall back to a wall somewhere.
yeah. And I think we just okay. Taylor, I don't know how often you cast StarCraft 2, but I think this was an instance of the caster's curse. And so if you haven't suffered the caster's curse yet, then congratulations, you have popped your cherry. What just happened was something that we did not expect to happen. As in, the Lings are doing much better than they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, Nigel's just not quite gotten up to that critical mass of roaches yet, which he's got the money to do. He just doesn't have the. He needs
The
a third
larva.
base so that he can really pump out roaches.
Right. So for our viewers who are not familiar, Zerg macro, aka economic mechanics, function differently from the other two races. So Zerg only has one production facility, that being the hatchery, aka lair or hive, depending on the tech level. But the all of the units and all of the buildings are made biologically. So they are made from the larva, essentially, and larvae are produced only from the hatches, unlike, for example, barracks, which produce marines, or factories that produce hellions and tanks. Now, hold that thought
I
because these roaches are moving
I
out, trying to
fully do
take down the
not
cores.
understand Void here with the infestation pit but no hive and just now starting a spire.
Oh,
Oh, this
man.
hatchery really helping Nigel out.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
this too many Zerglings? I don't really know. I don't think so.
It looks like that main
This is.
force that is clumped up behind the mineral line is going to survive,
I
actually.
think
So,
if Void had canceled that natural or that fourth base, whatever number that is,
yeah,
that fight
yeah.
would have got a lot better for him.
So Nigel, interestingly enough, is leading in supply, which is really, really good for him because he's on higher tech, right? So he's got roaches against pure Ling. Now the Spire has finished, so we have to wait and see how. Oh my God, that is 9 meters. That is definitely not what you want to see with the roach-based army. But he will clean up all the Lings. So now it's up to Nigel to deal as much economic damage as he can before the mutas pop. Because once those mutas pop, the roaches are not dead weight, but they're just sort of, a little bit
They
outdated and
are
they
on a
have to run
timed
back home.
life at this point.
Exactly.
Mostly,
Now, the
I'd like
natural
to
going
see
down
Nigel
does,
throw down a Hydralisk dead at least here.
yeah, looks like he's gonna do a counter Spire. I love it. I would love to see him actually target this Spire as well, because he does have enough roaches for it, and he does kill over, oh my God, 30 workers. Oh my God, this is definitely his game to
Uh,
lose right now, so he needs to have a good follow-up, otherwise this game could be a case where the mutas pull back for Void.
I like he saw these drones moving out, so Nigel's on the hunt for him. He's gonna miss them, but Void's down to what 10 workers at this point.
How often do you see a Grandmaster? Granted, they are off racing, but how often do you see this kind of game where 50, not 15, but 50 workers are lost for one player? This is amazing. Now, we do see Nigel following up with a bunch of spores, 3 spores per base. I love that. Whenever I see mutas, I immediately put down 3 spores per base. I don't care what it costs me, but I need those spores. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
kind of
Void is broke.
question the Mutalisk response.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That was, it's not the most ideal response,
I
but
mean, like
hey,
you've got 2/2 roaches, you could have 2/2 hydras, which trade out pretty well against 0/0 mutas.
yeah, definitely. Okay, now that is a very large Mutalisk force. That is 20 Mutalisks, and they could, in theory, one-shot, or I don't know if they can one-shot, but they can definitely hold their own against these Spore Crawlers. So, again, it's all down to Nigel to be able to defend adequately. So, this
Can't
is,
afford to
I
start
don't know.
trading with the mutas, though.
Oh, oh, I don't know about this. Okay, some mutos being lost on both sides. Some workers also being lost on the part of Nigel, and Void is using this time to drone back up. But so far, yeah, these mutas are definitely taking a lot of damage from the spores. Spores, of course, they deal bonus damage against biological, I believe, making them excellent in this mirror matchup. But all of a sudden, 20, 20 mutalisks went all the way down to just 12, and Void is forced back home. I think Nigel
12
just
is
held.
now a count that Nigel actually can eventually compete
contend
with.
with.
And
Yeah,
Void's just mining minerals right now because he needs to get back up to a worker count.
yeah, yeah. No, this is still Nigel's game to lose. I think he held off those mutas very, very well.
Let's see, still only at half the muta count, but also he's making more drones, which I think is a good call here.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
dealing with the mutas is not an immediate threat, while just having the economy to not really be worried about this, and he's got enough spore crawlers now that 12 mutas can no longer really get much done.
Yeah, exactly. Now, awkwardly enough, the lings actually do run through, and the roaches are stuck behind those queens. So those lings are going to have free reign of the main for now, as the mutas
Queen's
are
out of
going to try to
roaches and
clean up.
spore crawlers as well.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
wow. So Void, he just says, I'm done. I'm going to tap out. I know I'm behind. GG is called. Nigel takes game number 4. Yeah, 4.
I was a little bit worried Void was going to make us play that one all the way out of Nigel
Yeah.
eventually getting to enough mutas. That was an interesting one though.
Yeah, that was what a treat. I love watching these games, man. Like, oh man. Only in tournament games or, recorded games do you get to see crazy, crazy stuff like that. In my
Now,
opinion, at least.
are we at 2-2 right now?
We're at 2-2. We're going to game number 5.
The ace match, right?
Yeah, this is the ace match, as CEA loves to call it. Bit of
At
an
the very
inside joke
least,
for.
though, this isn't the first ace match of many.
Yeah.
This is the
It's
one and
secretly
only
a best
ace
of
match.
7. Yep. Oh,
Void
silver chloride
correctly
coming in
choosing
clutch.
Terran on Beckett Industries.
Correctly, yeah, that is the correct choice. There's only one choice that is, you know. All right, so it looks like they're ready, and we're gonna head straight into game number 5 in this best of 5. So we got
Got our
all
money's worth
5 games
here.
played today. What's that?
Got our money's worth.
Yeah, really. All right, here we go. All right, and let's double check that we are showing this to the stream, etc.,
Yep,
etc.
I got that set up.
Sweet, very nice. Game number 5. We have not actually seen this map all day today for this entire tournament. On Beckett Industries LE, a bit of an asymmetrical map. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Zerg for the clan SC Swarm, it is Nigel.
And in the top right, surprisingly keeping all of his SCVs at home for now. We have the Red Terran Void. I'm not
Or
totally
as
sure
we
what
would
you
say,
think asymmetrical means, but
listen, it just came
definitely
to mind.
a somewhat non-standard map.
Yep, that's what I meant. The two are exactly the same. That is what they mean. Yep.
The kind of the big common complaint on this map is the walking distance between the natural and or third base to your opponent's third base is not terribly long. So
Yeah, definitely more of a rush type of map. We see that scouting SUV going down. Noticing that it probably isn't a hatch first. Now, is Void going to deny the third? It doesn't look like he's going to deny the third, and it also doesn't look like he's going to scout for a pool, so a little bit awkward.
he should know, not seeing the hatchery here, he knows it's
Oh.
a spawning pool.
Oh, wow, and we see that Void is, in my opinion, acting a little bit irrationally here, so he's putting down the extra bunker, or not the extra bunker, excuse me, the extra barracks, as well as the high ground bunker, just to make sure that he doesn't die in the
And
early
no
stages.
command center. I wonder if he missed the drone going over to the third base.
Yeah, I think he did. So is he gonna? Yeah, so he
Okay,
finally
Kurtz.
scouts. Okay, I probably don't need this bunker, but doesn't cancel. That's fine. He's gonna go up to factory tech now.
You can always just get most of your money back from the bunker anyways. It's
Yeah,
mostly a command center that he'd really
he
like to get
needs.
up at this point.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you there. I'm pretty surprised that he went for a factory instead of a command center. Although, to be fair, if he does allow himself those quick Hellions off of the reactor, there is potential that earlier Hellions could do a bit more damage than Nigel expects.
Yeah, and the Marauders. I really like the Marauder choice here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nigel has now realized, I think up to this point, forgot to scout with the Overlord at the natural, and realizes he's against a one-base Terran, and probably shouldn't be making roaches.
Hmm. It's so difficult to say. You could make arguments either way. You could say, oh, it's a one base turn, I need to defend. Or you could say, it's a one base turn, I can macro ahead of this. So,
The thing you
I don't know.
shouldn't
If
be
I were
saying
him.
is the one-base Terran, let's go kill him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is the one thing that is out of the question, but not for Nigel.
So it looks like our this map's gonna be a little bit interesting here. Might
Yeah,
be a
definitely.
short
So
game that we get.
it could very well be. Nigel is definitely not having a high supply count, or excuse me, a high drone count. Now, those first rounds of biles do go down. Oh,
Oh,
oh no!
oh no, those
Huge mismicro
biles,
by Void.
and that
Yeah,
that might have just lost him the game right there.
I think that did. I mean, those Lings have free reign over the high ground now, and that barracks is actually gonna get
Void
killed.
sitting with 4 Marines at this point in time.
Oh, this is crazy. He walked into the biles. Oh,
Sim goes down. We have
Taylor, look away. This is too much. I can't. This is so dirty. I'm so sad. And I'm a Zerg main. Like, this is just horrible. Oh, what are we seeing? Nigel just being outrageously like who does that? Who
uh,
who aggresses a one base Terran as a Zerg? That was crazy.
that was some
Oh my
quick
god.
caster curse for sure right there.
Oh, definitely. And I was very happy to have the caster curse in that moment. Now, we do see banking up some gas from the Zerg, but more Lings are coming in, gonna take out the rest of these low ground Marines. That Hellion is gonna. Yeah, that Hellion is also gonna
Yeah,
go down.
Void kind of hoping there that Nigel was just gonna macro up behind
Oh,
it.
man.
Wow.
What a series. Nigel takes the series with that clutch aggression coming in for game 5, taking the series 3-2 against an off-racing Grandmaster Protoss. Very, very well played. Very well played.
It's definitely not the game 5 I was expecting us to get. But very good games from everybody here. And Nigel getting the revenge.
Yeah, I think, Nigel, he's onto something here. I might have to steal that build for myself.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Have a ZVX sort of build. Wow, very, very well played. And so it looks like Nigel is going to come in first place. Void is going to come in second place. And Sweet is going to come in third place. Gonna receive that amazing Corsair gear. I believe first place is gonna get a 60% keyboard. Second place is gonna receive a premium gaming headset. And third place is gonna receive a gaming mouse. So very well played.
And then of course I think we still have the Corsair giveaway going on in chat. I don't know when that ends, but exclamation mark Corsair in chat.
Yeah,
And
so if we just do exclamation Corsair in the chat, I believe you will be entered into a giveaway for the third place prize, for a copy of the third place prize, another mouse. Yeah, the Biles, that was just oh no. Not like this. Oh man. Like you said, Taylor, just that one moment where the Marines tried to engage into the roaches. To be fair, I think Nigel was trying to angle for that, right? So he pulled back his army to make sure that the Biles went down on the Terran force, and he did that successfully. The supply depot was down, and the Bile was on top of it, and so just barely, the Biles connected with the
Yeah.
majority of the army.
Yeah, one of those that's always kind of the bile you're fishing for, but not ever the bile you expect to get.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh
And pretty
man.
quickly turning that from, I think, a relatively straightforward hold to not a hold. But
All right.
again, good games from everybody. Thanks again to all our sponsors, and especially Corsair with all the sponsored gear.
Yeah. Very well played by everybody. I can't stress that enough. Like we had some great series here today.
Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up too. We had a decent turnout for the tournament. Timing and everything worked out. Triton Gaming for putting on the expo is also pretty sweet. Setting all this up and getting things arranged. All our fancy overlays and such. I will say I've been pretty impressed with UCSG's esports section. Getting
Yeah,
everything they do for
definitely.
us. Even as the Starcraft team, with Starcraft not being the young buck that it once was.
That's right. All of us are just sort of sitting here waiting for the next RTS, but yeah.
Still loving Starcraft though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else for tonight? Or
Nope, that is it. So thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We know that the stream went actually an hour overtime, but hey, we were the last block for tonight, so we can go as far overtime as we want. But yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. That was amazing. I had so much fun casting. Thanks for joining me, Taylor, too, and
yeah,
for setting up the stream, and for adminning, and for doing everything else. So
not a
yeah,
problem. It was fun.
hell yeah. Oh, quick note though, we do still plan on messing around in peep modes and whatnot tomorrow. So, for any of our StarCraft viewers out there, please check the TGEX Discord tomorrow and yeah, just come on by, swing, come through and just play some fun casual games with us. No prizing this time, but I think we've gotten all of the
I mean, the,
competition out of the way.
we'll
So
get the ultimate prize of friendship.
that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we'll go ahead and call it a night. Thanks again, everybody, for showing up and hanging out in the stream. Showed up for the tournament, playing games. It's been a pretty good day.
Yes, sir. That it has. All right, we're gonna sign off now.
All right.
Good
Have
night,
a good night,
everybody.
everybody.